first direct summit with the Russian leader of Trump's time in office. Officials have said a date and time are set, but what they are has yet to be made public. Reports have suggested it will take place in the next few weeks, however, and will be in a third country, with Helsinki, Finland suggested as a probable location. With allegations still swirling about Russian meddling in the 2016 election, President Trump has been very cautious with his diplomatic ties with Russian officials. This has meant that despite substantial issues to be addressed, the U.S. has much less engagement with Russia than in years past. John Bolton, who was in Moscow negotiating the summit, says that President Trump will be raising a full range of issues during the summit. He downplayed the significance of the meeting, saying he did not view the summit as anything unusual, which normally wouldn't be. U.S. and Russian presidents have met quite often. That Trump has not done so formally in the last 18 months is much more unusual, however, and the political circus still swirling around the election will likely make the summit controversial, particularly for Trump's political opponents. Zencash is the world's first private, distributed, and reliable platform for communications, transactions, and publishing. Zencash has the ability to use both transparent and shielded transactions, with shielded transactions using zero-knowledge proofs. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zencash.com. UPI reports after weeks of negotiations and a last-minute Twitter endorsement by President Donald Trump, the House on Wednesday rejected the GOP's compromise immigration bill. The bill was rejected by a vote of 121 to 301, which was well short of the 218 votes needed to pass. No Democrats voted for the bill. Earlier Wednesday, Trump had urged House Republicans to back the bill despite telling them last week to wait until after midterm elections to bother with any reform measures. Under the proposal, children who cross the border with parents or other adult guardians in violation of immigration laws would no longer be separated, an issue that stirred significant controversy last week and led to a presidential order and federal court ruling. The bill would have required children to be released after 20 days, still apart from parents who continued to be detained. Unaccompanied children would be returned to their home countries. Included in the bill was nearly $25 billion for a border wall on the U.S.-Mexico border, a project sharply opposed by Democrats, but Trump had said it was required for his signature. The bill would have also allowed a path to citizenship for 3.6 million DACA recipients, or Dreamers. Democrats, though, said the bill would have made that path much more difficult. The Cato Institute estimated eligibility restrictions in the bill would only result in about 12% of Dreamers becoming U.S. citizens. Last week, Republican leaders in the House rescheduled the vote on Ryan's moderate version after rejecting a more conservative proposal. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports the U.S. Supreme Court on Wednesday dealt a blow to organized labor, ruling that non-members cannot be forced in certain states to pay fees to unions representing public employees such as teachers and police, shutting off a key union revenue source. The 5-4 ruling overturned a 1977 Supreme Court precedent that had permitted these so-called agency fees, which have been collected from millions of workers who opt not to join unions in lieu of union dues to fund non-political activities such as collective bargaining. The court's conservative justices were in the majority, with the liberal justices dissenting. In the majority ruling authored by Justice Samuel Alito, the court said forcing non-members to pay these fees to unions whose views they may oppose violates their rights to free speech and free association under the U.S. Constitution's First Amendment. Alito wrote states and public sector unions may no longer extract agency fees from non-consenting employees. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Patrons at a local Boston sports club watched dumbfounded today as an unidentified man's personal trainer forced him to put on an embarrassing athletic spectacle for the entire gym.
Like a machine, there you go.
According to sources, the degrading little show went on for nearly 45 minutes, with the man reportedly being paraded around every section of the fitness establishment doing anything his trainer commanded.
I wish I could turn around and concentrate on my workout, but I can't help but keep watching. He has to know how ridiculous he looks.
Sources added that the whole spectacle was made even sadder by the personal trainer encouraging the man to, quote, push himself a little harder.
It's like watching a
trained SEAL.
Okay, so when you stand like that, you want to feel pressure in your knees, like this, right here, okay? Okay, give it a shot.
You root for him to tell the trainer that he's a human being with dignity and just to walk away. But no, he keeps subjecting himself to this.
All right, let's have you get on your back and walk like a crab. Come on.
This is the Onion News Network.
This is Free Talk Live. We'll give you the toll-free call-in line here momentarily where you can call in and join us. The us in studio tonight is Daryl.
And Heather.
And Chris.
And we have brought things to the table, among them sad news in the case of Ross Ulbricht. Plus, Chris, you've got a story about Permit Patty.
Permit Patty. Gotta love her.
Some lady that
or not.
Either called or just threatened to call the cops on an 8-year-old girl selling water. Still not entirely positive exactly what happened there. But starting off, going to the phones, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We've got Joe calling in from Concord, New Hampshire. Joe, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Good afternoon. I presume this is Daryl I'm talking with.
This is Daryl. Yes, it's Daryl, Heather, and Chris. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Harold, Heather, and Chris. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How are you?
I'm doing okay. How are you doing?
We're doing a radio show. Go ahead with your thoughts. You can stop the pleasantries any time now and just go with your thoughts.
Okay, sure. I was told by one of the Libertarian candidates to call here. This is my first time calling in.
Okay.
And I want to talk about the 14th Amendment, and in specific, sections 2 and 5.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
And I have, I don't know if you know about, years ago, there used to be meetings on the Constitution over there at the Sherwood Inn, Trojan Horse House over in Epsom.
Not familiar with
no clue.
That exact meetup, but it sounds like a meetup of people that were interested in what?
Interested in the Constitution. The first Sunday of every month we used to meet over there, and it was Andy Melichinsky who came up from Enfield, Connecticut. He's deceased now. With his friend Ralph Lombardi from Windsor Locks. He's still around. He's an old-timer now.
Okay.
And he told me this Section 2 of the 14th Amendment a long time ago. It says that in all states where the inhabitants cannot vote for their judicial officers, the representation in Congress shall be reduced. And so what I did, I filed a civil case under the False Claims Act at the U.S. District Court in Concord, and the judge has set a hearing for Wednesday, July 11th at 10 o'clock.
Okay.
To get to the brass tacks on who's supposed to do what and who's supposed to go. And my idea is, well, since we're one of the number of states that cannot vote, that the duty is on the sitting representatives and also senators by Section 5 to determine how one of them is to be subtracted from the equation.
Hold on. What do you mean we can't vote?
That's okay. I'm going to read the text of Section 2 of the 14th Amendment so we can sort of understand what we're discussing here.
Sure.
Section 2 reads, representatives shall be apportioned among the several states according to the respective numbers, counting the whole number of persons in each state, excluding Indians not taxed. And that really refers to how the Constitution laid out how citizens were counted. And it also refers to the 3/5 of a person that slaves were counted as. So the 14th Amendment sort of does away with that. But when the right to vote to any election for the choice of electors for president and president of the United States, representatives in Congress, the executive and judicial officers of a state, or the members of the legislature thereof is denied to any of the male inhabitants of such state, being 21 years of age and citizens of the United States, or in any way abridged except for participation in rebellion or other crime, the basis of representation therefore shall be reduced in the proportion which the number of such male citizens shall shall bear to the whole number of male citizens 21
So
age.
the 14th Amendment, to give some context, it was
Sure.
passed after the Civil War. There were still
Yes.
some states that had not yet been readmitted to the Union.
It was
So this
considered
had
a
to
reparation,
Right.
amendment.
This had to do with those states that had not yet been readmitted. You don't get members of Congress until you get readmitted.
Right. That's correct. And it goes on further, and it really laid down some harshness to indicate that the federal government was absolutely superior. Don't forget it. We can make rules. If you don't follow our rules exactly, we do not have to either admit you or I'm not sure if that's in here, but it does. Like in section 2, it definitely talks about how it can penalize a state who doesn't do what the feds want.
So how's this relate to whatever lawsuit you're talking about here, Joe?
Well, what I'm getting at, I'm glad you said that because I guess the grandfather clause phrase comes up that any state that was pre-existing before that was put on the books. Are they grandfathered in that because they cannot vote for their judicial officers that they're not required by the 14th Amendment?
I don't
think so.
I don't follow that logic at all. And what Joe seems to be referring to specifically is this when the right to vote in an election for the choice of electors, or if it's
and then
the
it lists
executive,
a long number of things that people may be able to vote for.
right? Well, and it doesn't say it says if you are not allowed to vote for the executives and judicial officers of a state, then the number of representatives you have for your state may be reduced. That seems the crux of it.
And
right.
there's a ratio that you go the number of male inhabitants compared to the ones that are 21 or 18 or whatever. And I did do a survey of that once, and it came to some percentage, and it came to less than whatever percent. I said, well, you round up to the next whole number. You have 2 federal reps in New Hampshire. We used to have 3, and so 2 minus 1 is only 1.
So are you wanting to reduce a representative in Congress, or I'm not sure what you're hoping to have happen here?
Well, I just want them to follow the law, and them meaning the federal reps and senators to do their Section 5 duty to determine how that subtraction is to be done.
Yeah, they're never going to wind up following the laws because they wind up making the laws and they exempt themselves from the laws. Joe, thank you for the call.
It is an interesting question. So this is oftentimes how questions about the Constitution come up. Somebody reads something that doesn't look quite right, and this, in a basic reading of the 14th Amendment, doesn't look right.
Right. But if you read other parts of it where it talks about the apportionment of the members of Congress, it makes it sound like we should have 1 member of Congress for every 50,000 people.
Sure.
But we actually have 1 member for every 600,000 people.
Yeah. And the questions I would have are, has Section 2 of the 14th Amendment ever been before a federal court? Yeah. Has
Probably
anybody?
not.
Probably not. Has anyone ever ruled on this? Or are there other amendments? So, for example, when we, when the country finally deemed that women could actually vote, then that brought in its own. I haven't gone back and reviewed that amendment. I can't even tell you which is that, the 19th? 20th? Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Or no, it was the 19th. The 20th is the one they refer to as the lame duck amendment that just says the president gets sworn in on January 20th, where previously it was March 4th. Also sets the date in January for when Congress winds up meeting, where previously they met in December.
So somehow, without Googling, folks, I actually identified the correct amendment, number 19, which gave women suffrage.
Yes.
I will also categorize that as an answer pulled out of my butt.
Amendment 21 repealed the 18th Amendment.
It did. Thank God.
Yes.
We didn't like that one.
Yeah, that's the one. Remember, boys and girls, the 18th Amendment is the one that created alcohol prohibition. And we were all taught in schools, or at least I was, about the abject failure of prohibition. That's why the 21st Amendment had to be adopted, because prohibition was a failure.
Yes. So we shouldn't prohibit things like that.
But somehow the drug war is seen as something other than prohibition and not a failure because there wasn't an amendment to the Constitution or something.
The other thing that is unique, I think, about the amendment that and it was the 21st that gave us back.
Yes.
The other thing that was interesting about the 21st Amendment and the 18th Amendment was to do something so powerful. The federal government actually realized that if we're going to make this kind of a big stand, we're going to actually have to modify the Constitution to do it. Yeah. Now you have regulatory agencies that do it left and right.
Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH, with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com. That's wallet.bitcoin.com.
Imagine this is you. You're working late when you get an alert on your smartphone. Your motion-activated Blink security camera picked up something at home. You pop open your Blink app and see the silhouette of a man peering through your kitchen window. The job of a home security system is to help stop crime. Get 3 Blink cams for way less than the other guys, plus an extra 15% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL, like Free Talk Live. blinkprotect.com/FTL to save 15%.
Zencash is an end-to-end encrypted system with zero-knowledge technology over which communications, data, or value can be securely transmitted and stored. With over 7,500 secure nodes, Zencash has one of the most distributed node systems of any cryptocurrency. Zencash is a platform for cryptocurrency and communications built by voluntarists for voluntarists, with the ideas of voluntary interaction being written into the white paper no less than half a dozen times. Learn more at Zencash.com. That's Zencash.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Apparently, Chuck Schumer has done something that I kind of like. We'll tell you what that is coming up here in moments. But first, I want to tell you about a liberty-oriented news aggregation site that you can go to find out the newest, freshest stories and perspectives on current events from those who value liberty. freedomsphoenix.com. That's freedoms with an S, phoenix.com. Their daily dispatch is the best way to stay up to date on science, technology, historical findings, liberty news, government overspending, and the rise of the police state. freedomsphoenix.com. That's freedoms with an S, phoenix.com. So, Heather, you've got a story about something that Chuck Schumer did that I actually like, and then we'll get into the bad news for Ross Ulbricht.
So basically what Schumer did, he introduced a bill to federally decriminalize marijuana.
With caveats.
Yeah, obviously.
There are always caveats, but is there caviar?
That's a good question.
Yeah, you never know.
Tell us more, Heather.
Okay, so he's introduced a new bill to decriminalize and regulate marijuana at the federal level. The legislation, which the New York Democrat announced back in April, would remove marijuana from the Controlled Substances Act, where it is classified among drugs such as heroin and LSD. By striking marijuana from the act, Schumer's office said in a news release Wednesday, the bill would effectively decriminalize the drug at the federal level. The measure would still allow states to determine their own marijuana laws while maintaining federal law enforcement against trafficking to states where it is illegal.
There it is. There it is. So we remove the federal prohibition against marijuana.
Yep.
But if you ship marijuana or if you carry it to the wrong state, then it still becomes a federal violation.
But isn't that kind of like what the whole point of having like the federal government was, to kind of like protect the rights of the states?
Yes.
So in a sense that if
one
state is violating the rights of another state, that they don't, like if New Hampshire didn't want marijuana here and Massachusetts was, going out of their way to supply our people with it, then the federal government would kind of protect New Hampshire's right. And
not so much. What I think, if we were to really, let's say that's the issue.
Yeah.
New Hampshire's getting weed from Massachusetts and la-di-da. Then I think the role of the federal government may be in the federal courts, but I don't know where I would find in the Constitution a federal enforcement mechanism to stop that.
Right, because fireworks are legal in New Hampshire. They're not legal in Massachusetts. You don't see federal agents enforcing the firework laws of the state of Massachusetts.
Right.
When the Massachusetts police about a decade ago were driving across the border, jotting down license plates of Massachusetts license plates, and then pulling those people over when they crossed the state line, they were threatened by the New Hampshire governor of, hey, you're practicing outside of your jurisdiction. Keep it up. We'll take you to court.
Right. So the distinction.
That's awesome. Wait, what governor said that?
I forget which one it was. It was like a decade ago.
Shout out to him. That's pretty cool.
But I think the distinction, at least in my mind, would be where does the Constitution grant the federal government enforcement matters between state?
Interstate commerce.
Right.
That's the catch-all for everything.
Exactly. And you have to go through all the hoops of saying interstate commerce to say that they have a role in all this.
Yeah.
If you want to repeal something, how about repealing all the insane, not repealing, but re-adjudicating all the insane things that have been done under the name of interstate commerce?
Isn't that why you can't have a 5-gallon flush toilet anymore? Because something interstate commerce, something water?
I don't know if that one came down that, but, certainly, we have Wicker v. Filburn, which we're all familiar with. That's a household name.
Yeah.
To no one except for maybe Daryl and I. Yeah. But what that said was that because...
And Heather's heard it a few times because we mention it all the time.
Yeah. But if you're just tuning in and you've never heard of Wicker v. Filburn, that's where the Supreme Court ruled that a man growing wheat on his own farm in a single state, even if he only...
For his own personal consumption.
For his own consumption or feeding his animals or whatever, even if he didn't take it to market and sell it, or he didn't take it to another state and sell it, even if he didn't do anything with it, but let it grow, that wheat would be regulated under the Interstate Commerce Act, because even if he didn't do anything with it, Daryl, then he's affecting the prices that could be
because
in
he's
other
not
states.
buying. He's not buying from other people, so therefore he's impacting the farmers that live 2 states away.
Yeah, so that's the kind of insanity that gets done under the name of interstate commerce by the federal government, and then you also have this idea that anytime anything could or potentially could, it's basically anything, could cross a state line, then the feds have a right to regulate it.
Right.
And that's just wrong. But please, I want to hear more about Schumer.
Yeah, so there's some other details about this bill. It says several states allow recreational sales of marijuana, including California, Oregon, and Massachusetts. Schumer's bill would direct a specific amount of tax revenue to a Treasury trust fund for the small business concerns of women and socially and economically disadvantaged individuals working in the marijuana industry.
Well, I got to disagree with that one. Number one, there shouldn't be taxes, and there shouldn't be a Treasury trust fund, because that's just going to get spent by the federal government.
Right.
And I hate to say it, but women of small business concerns and socially and economically disadvantaged individuals in a libertarian society would have no right to anything more than anyone else.
See, I'm sure so many feminists out there would love this, but like when I read that, I read like handicap. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
I don't want a handicap. Like, I might be a woman, but I don't need a handicap.
Yeah, and that's what it implies, that people need more. Go ahead.
Treasury trust fund for the, in quotes, small business concerns of women and, in quotes, socially and economically disadvantaged. Like, that's almost like saying, hey, because you're a woman and because you're this, you're disadvantaged, so we're going to give you some handouts.
Right. Well, we're not going to give it to her. We're going to take it from somebody else and give it to you.
There are all kinds of small business grants, and
that's not equality.
Right? Is it? Thank you, Heather.
There's going to be some upset feminists listening to this, but that is not equality.
The attempt is, and I'm not necessarily justifying the existence here, I'm just explaining what the attempt is. The attempt is to give equal opportunity at opening a business. So if you're in an economically depressed area to where you don't necessarily have the $1,000 that you need to pay that first month rent, then here's a system that is going to help you out to give you an equal advantage to try to start the business. Now, one thing that they're not talking about are all of the laws that exist in Colorado, Washington, California, Maine, Massachusetts that prohibit people that have ever been effective at selling cannabis before it wound up not being criminal to do so. They are prohibited from now working in the cannabis industry.
Exactly.
That's
obviously
something where you're economically disadvantaging people of, hey, you are a successful cannabis seller. You can't do that now.
Exactly. Yeah. You can't have that.
Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. What are your thoughts on this legislation by Chuck Schumer to remove cannabis from the Controlled Substances Act? This is Free Talk Live.
Want revenge on the common housefly? Well, after 10,000 years, someone has finally come up with a better way. The Bug Assault, a miniaturized shotgun, which utilizes ordinary table salt as ammunition. Non-toxic and no batteries required. So much fun, you'll forget you have a wife and kids. $39.95 and free economy shipping. Use discount code GCN and get an extra 10% off your purchase at bugassault.com. Fire your fly swatter. Get your Bug Assault today.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
I've been told no in many different ways.
I give you an order and you're going to obey it.
Who told you to go this way? You can do that and you have to leave here.
You cannot bring signs into the rally.
Walk with me.
Well, I'm comfortable here, actually. Whoa. Hey. Who do you think you are? Excuse me.
There is no video and audio allowed in this office.
No, I have work today.
You ain't gonna make it.
Wait a minute.
Hey! Oh my God! Unbelievable!
Why are you running from me? Because you're scared me. What am I being detained for?
You're being served.
What is this?
You're being served.
What is this? Bureaucrats have a funny way of telling people no.
That's the sound of the men working on the chain.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We're talking about the Chuck Schumer proposal that I'm not going to hold my breath that it actually winds up passing through Congress, but we're talking about the Chuck Schumer proposal to remove cannabis from the Controlled Substances Act. We'll get back into that story here in just a moment, but I want to tell you about the Twitch. No, it's not something that happens when you wind up needing to go to a doctor and
we're thinking twerk.
We got this Twitch going. Remember the episode of Seinfeld where George pretended to have some kind of Twitch
problem with his
and then
elbow?
He actually wound up developing some kind of thing.
Yes.
No, so this Twitch is actually a thing that you can go and you can watch us. If you don't want to just listen, you want to try to put a face to a voice, you can watch on the Twitch. Go to twitch.freetalklive.com.
Yes.
And I think twitch.lrn.fm. I forget. I know that there are one of those two work.
Mm-hmm.
I think they both work.
Yep.
Twitch.freetalklive.com or twitch.lrn.fm. There is a chat room built in where you can chat with other watchers and listeners, and maybe some of them actually like us because some of the people on the Twitch subscribe to the LRN Twitch channel. And if you're an Amazon Prime subscriber, you get one free Twitch subscription per month. And you click subscribe, you have to renew that every month, but then they wind up giving us a little bit of something.
Yeah, and I just did that, Daryl. You reminded me.
Excellent. And the month's almost over, so you can do it again in like 3 days.
Sweet. Perfect. I'll do that.
So
anyway, yeah, let's jump back into this bill.
Yes.
So going back into it, we obviously just talked about the Treasury Trust Fund. It states that advertising for marijuana and related products would be restricted for youths should joint research conducted by the Department of Health and Human Services, National Institutes of Health, and the Food and Drug Administration determine that doing so would be appropriate for the protection of the health and of those 18 and younger.
Hold on. Joint research?
Joint research, yeah.
Joint research.
Ba-dum-ching.
Under the
and
bill.
normally I'm the one that makes the bad puns. So
sorry. But
I was actually,
I kind of agree with that anyway, though. You know what I mean? I don't think it should be like, isn't that kind of saying like it shouldn't be marketed for kids?
Right,
I
same
think
as
that's a role of a
alcohol, tobacco.
Yeah.
You can't have any cartoon characters. That's why Camel had to get rid of Joe Camel.
Yeah, I still miss that guy.
Yeah.
That's all right.
So I was
wait,
watching.
Oh, wait a minute. Is this kind of like one of those articles we did one time where you said that there was an issue, I think it was for tobacco, where they were putting like little like cartoons on the flavoring or something, and one town tried to ban that? It was in Massachusetts. I swear
that's not
I
surprising.
do know that there are a couple of beers where there are children on the label, specifically the Founder's Oatmeal Stout. There's a picture of a baby eating oatmeal.
Okay.
This is not being marketed to children.
No, and it's not being marketed to babies.
Right.
I think that's just a marketing tactic, though, because animals and babies tend to provide for better sales.
There's an infant eating oatmeal on the thing, and the state of New Hampshire had banned that particular beer from being sold in New Hampshire because of the depiction of a minor on the label. Luckily, they wound up changing that recently.
Right.
But then I heard that Founders actually changed the label to remove the baby eating oatmeal off of their oatmeal stout. It's an oatmeal stout.
So I wonder if that means that under this bill, the states couldn't do that if they so choose. Do you know what I mean? That
It seems like
federally they're going to regulate the way it's marketed.
Right. Just like they do with cigarettes and they do with some alcohol advertising and things like that. It'll be federal law.
Oh, we can't have Spuds McKenzie because puppy dog, and who doesn't love puppies?
Right.
Kids like puppies, and the puppy is advertising beer, so therefore kids like beer.
Yeah, but they're going to apply the same sort of thing to marijuana advertising. This is what I would expect from a federal response.
Yeah. So jumping back into this next paragraph's interesting. In a press statement, Schumer said that legislation is simply the right thing to do and that he is hopeful its balanced approach will earn bipartisan support in Congress. The bill is co-sponsored by Independent Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont and Democratic Senators Tim Kaine of Virginia and Tammy Duckworth of Illinois. So I'm a little shocked that Bernie's
Bernie usually supports.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, Bernie usually supports most legalization or decriminalization.
Yeah.
He's been pretty consistent on that.
Yeah, and I think he came out in favor of the thing that is referred to as the States Act. I forget
it's not
what
legalized
that's a.
in his state, though, is it?
Well, in like 3 days it will be.
Yeah.
Really?
So-
Retail sales will not be allowed in Vermont
Yet.
No, what wound up passing did not allow for retail.
I understand.
What passed?
I'm just saying yet when you talk about any marijuana law because states
Right.
left
I'm
and
talking
right,
about the thing that goes into effect in 3 days. Is not going to
In the
allow for
state of
retail.
the
in the state of Vermont.
Right.
Yes, that's what we're talking about, is Vermont.
But they can grow, is that?
Home grow is allowed, and it's a fairly good number of plants. I forget exactly what it is. You're also going to be able to have several ounces on you at any time.
Yeah.
Now, of course, if it's in separate little baggies, then they'll probably hit you with an intent to distribute charge.
Sure.
But, it's not the worst thing to wind up being passed.
Yeah.
So it doesn't surprise me that Bernie supports this. We can continue the discussion, but first to the phones where we've got CJ calling in from an undisclosed location, watching us on YouTube. CJ, go ahead with your thoughts.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Look, I agree with the whole marijuana thing and all, and I've been on board with that the whole time. But look, I called in the other night and talked about this briefly. But look, there is an equally important conversation that we need to be having right now in 2018. And it's not just about pot. We've already got that conversation going. It's great. But there's there's an even better drug, an even better substance that can help way more people that we haven't even started the conversation on, and that's magic mushrooms. We need to get these things legalized now. I mean, these things could help millions of people. And I called in about an article the other day from Men's Journal about how these things were already statistically proven to be the safest drug, create the least amount of emergency.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do like a soft pass on the psychedelics for now. Sorry.
Feel free, but he is absolutely right.
It's not saying that you have to take them.
No,
It's just saying they
I'm,
shouldn't be illegal.
Yeah.
I'll take Heather's portion.
Yep.
But there has been.
Here's the.
Go ahead, please.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to agree with what you were saying. Number one, there have been studies that show that out of all the illicit drugs, even fewer health damaging side effects come from magic mushrooms than they do from marijuana. And marijuana is, I think, the second or third lowest. That's the first thing, and then there's all sorts of positive things that they're finding out regarding PTSD and other things. Go ahead, please.
Double, anything that kind of like...
Go ahead, CJ.
I'm sorry. Yes, you're all absolutely correct about that. And even specifically related to government and libertarianism, there was also an article as of 2018 where they've now statistically proven that mushrooms actually make people have less authoritarian views. I'm not even kidding. Go into Google.
Nice. Eat this and we'll brainwash you. Sounds great.
Almost thought that we had a chance to pass that, but you bring that up, and
I
now
know.
we know the government's not going to do it.
Yeah. I don't
Dang
know.
it. Thanks for ruining my day.
Yeah, I don't know. Any type of substance that causes hallucinations and stuff like that alters the mind in a serious way, I think there needs to be some type of oversight for it. So I don't think, like, when you smoke marijuana, you don't hallucinate. You don't have all these, like, you're really affecting the brain when you take certain drugs. And
Well, that all depends on
become a public
dosages and things
safety
too.
hazard.
So a huge thing in Silicon Valley, which has been there for years, it turns out, was microdosing. So people taking very, very tiny amounts of either psilocybin or LSD or things like that, and experiencing such a no hallucinogen, no getting messed up or anything, but getting some of the perks, being more aware of your surroundings and things like that. I think that's a conversation worth having.
CJ, thank you for the call. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH, with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com. That's wallet.bitcoin.com.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
Hello, this is Dr. Bill Deagle, MD of NutriMedical.com, announcing the breakthrough Red Deer Velvet DR. It delivers the protected building blocks of all organs and tissues, allowing your own stem cells as architects and engineers to regenerate you. Not since fetal life, when aging does not occur, has such an amazing NutriMed been available to help heal you and regenerate you. Anti-aging requires that you correct mineral, activated nutraceutical, and jump the gene defects and poor diet you have to deliver the cellular tools for regeneration. You must remove old damaged cells and replace them with your young healthy cells to wind the biological clock to a younger you. Order your Red Deer Velvet DR now at NutriMedical.com 24/7 or 888-212-8871. That's NutriMedical, N-U-T-R-I, Medical, MEDICAL.com. Or call our order line 888-212-8871.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are
having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. In studio tonight, it's Daryl.
And Heather.
And Chris.
And we'll jump back into this story here. I think it's from CNN. Jump back into that in just a moment. But first, I want to tell you about a website that got a revamp about a year ago. And it's something that libertarians have been wanting for a long time. And that's a directory of liberty-minded businesses. Talking about liberty.menu. Now, I'm not sure if there are any cannabis-related businesses on liberty.menu just yet. Chris, can you take a look at that real quick?
Yeah, I'm going to dig around. I know there's a lot of businesses in California, for example, and some of those may be cannabis related.
But liberty.menu, it's a tool for our community. At its core is a directory for events, businesses, digital content, and more. Listings can be rated and reviewed kind of like a Yelp, but there's also a bit of a social networking aspect built in where you can connect and share with other users. Use of liberty.menu is exclusively for individuals who reject the initiation of force and those who agree to abide by the ethics of the non-aggression principle. Put your voluntarist ideas into action at liberty.menu. Use code FTL to get a special Free Talk Live listener badge. That's liberty.menu. And now, one thing that I found out about liberty.menu just recently is that every year the listings have to be renewed. That way you don't wind up with old, stale listings of businesses that, they closed 5 years ago.
Yeah, I just went through that process because I've got a listing for my store, and I started getting these emails going, you're going to lose your listing. And I think through this whole process, and they just implemented that recently, I think they've shaken out a lot of the bugs, and it's really clear. You just have to update it. If you want a listing, do so. If not, it's going to revert back to its sort of eventually non-existent state.
Yes, liberty.menu.
So going back into this story here, we got a little bit more talking about the Schumer's legislation that he submitted to decriminalize marijuana on the federal level. It says a similar measure aimed at loosening federal guidelines on marijuana and giving states more flexibility in determining their own laws was introduced earlier this month by Senators Elizabeth Warren in Massachusetts and Cory Gardner in Colorado. In April, President Donald Trump told Gardner he will support efforts to protect states that have legalized marijuana, according to a statement from the senator. The deal, which was first reported by the Washington Post, came after Gardner said he'd blocked all Justice Department nominees after Attorney General Jeff Sessions rescinded guidance from the Obama administration known as the Cole Memo that had adopted a policy of non-interference with marijuana-friendly state laws.
Yeah. So I think the idea that Trump is going to stand up to Sessions and...
Do you actually think he'll follow through?
I have no idea. I mean, do you know what Donald Trump's going to do
I don't
today,
think
tomorrow?
Donald Trump knows what Donald Trump is going to do tomorrow.
Exactly.
I
And,
swear when he first got elected, he was like, we're going to crack down on states or...
Yeah,
or,
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That
We're going to drain the
legalized it.
swamp.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to
We're
drain
And
the
then find the swamp monster and make him attorney general.
Exactly. So, yeah, you've got some interesting things being said, some interesting bills coming out. I just say the proof is in the pudding. Show me something that actually increases people's liberty. This is one of those things.
I mean, to my
Daryl?
knowledge, they federally haven't really gone after states yet, right? Like nothing's really been done. As far as...
California, there have been a lot of raids, mostly during the Obama administration, on medical facilities in California that were selling cannabis because the claim was, oh, well, California's medical isn't really medical. It's basically recreational, and there aren't any rules, although there were hundreds of pages, if not thousands of pages of rules in California. But Obama just didn't like the way it was done, so
Right.
he was doing some raids. I haven't heard of any under the Trump administration, but that doesn't mean that they're not happening.
Well, I've heard Jeff Sessions coming out and saying, I know Obama went soft on it, but guess what? We're going to come at him hard.
Yeah.
So you have the Attorney General of the United
repealed
States.
What was it?
The Cole Memo.
Yeah, the Cole Memo.
Yeah, just this idea that we would respect states' rights and allow them to regulate this is sort of foreign to Jeff Sessions.
Right.
My favorite quote on marijuana and how it should be regulated and legislated comes from our own Daryl W. Perry.
It should be regulated like tomatoes.
Right, exactly. All the regulations, federal regulations you have about tomatoes,
Daryl,
that's
if you
what
had a
should be
Wikipedia
applied.
page, that quote should be on it.
It should, shouldn't it?
So related to this, and also not good news here, from Forbes from actually about a week ago about the U.S. Senate voting to block a marijuana banking amendment. Chris, are you aware of some of the federal laws that exist on marijuana businesses and banking?
Yes, it's just nonsense. I mean, here we have businesses that have every legal right to do business under state law, and it's not just marijuana, but you'll get some either industries like banking, which just doesn't want to go there because they're scared of the federal government, or you have some rules put in place that prohibit them.
Yeah,
Right.
a lot of the times there's so many regulations when it comes to banking that a lot of the times when there is so much gray area, it's not worth it legally to get involved until everything
Right,
all
because
the
there are
rules are set
fears
in
of,
stone.
well, what you're doing is illegal at this level, and if we assist you in having a bank account, then we might be hit with
money laundering and all that.
helping you money launder this, that, the other thing. So let me jump into this article from Forbes. A powerful U.S. Senate panel moved to block an amendment to let cannabis businesses store their profits in banks. In a 21-10 vote, the Senate Appropriations Committee tabled an amendment last Thursday, this being exactly 1 week ago today, that would have shielded financial institutions that do open accounts for cannabis businesses that are complying with state laws from being punished by federal regulatory authorities. Current policy, which forces many marijuana businesses to operate on an all-cash basis, is a big problem because it's great for organized crime, it's great for money laundering, it's great for theft and larceny, it's great for cheating on taxes, and great for cheating on your payroll, says Senator Jeff Merkley of Oregon. The sponsor of the measure said in a brief debate before the vote, we're really facilitating crime by not enabling the banking industry to provide these basic services.
Well, thank you.
Several Democratic members of the Senate panel who said they otherwise support the ability of marijuana businesses in a growing number of states to access financial services objected on procedural grounds to the measure, which Merkley was seeking to attach to the fiscal year 2019 Financial Services and General Government Funding Bill. Senator Patrick Leahy of Vermont, for example, said that he wanted to keep spending legislation free of new controversial policy riders and that a more appropriate forum would be an authorized committee to set banking laws. Nonetheless, Leahy himself has sponsored appropriations amendments to prevent the Department of Justice from interfering with state medical cannabis laws instead of insisting that those measures go through the authorizing Judiciary Committee. So one of the problems here is, the reliance upon amendments and riders. So instead of just having, one subject per piece of legislation, the insistence of, no, we have to add this amendment to this bill because we know that this bill is going to wind up passing. We know that nobody's going to vote against the National Defense Authorization Act.
Right. So
let's just add everything onto that.
Yeah.
The prohibition, I think it was 2006, the prohibition on using U.S. credit cards for offshore gambling was added to a port security bill.
Right.
The thing called Real ID was added to a completely separate piece of legislation, and nobody knows how some of these things wound up getting into the bills. They're like, we never voted on this amendment.
When does that go into effect? Is it still? I haven't even followed that.
For us here in New Hampshire?
Yeah.
I'm not sure what our date is.
New Hampshire, for the Real ID, New Hampshire is now an opt-in state.
So does that mean I can fly without having to get Fed ID?
Well, right now, because Real ID is not in effect at the federal level, you can fly with whatever. And even the TSA's own rules say that if you have left your ID at home, here's the procedures for getting through security.
Right.
You just get to know a TSA agent very well, or they get to know you very well.
I don't ever want to hear that phrase again. I do not want to know a TSA agent well.
It's probably in the biblical sense as well.
I think so,
They get all
Daryl.
up close and personal every time.
And
you
as
board.
the shirt that Will Coley was selling at PorkFest says, it's not gay when it's the TSA. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450 free. That's 855-450-3733. What are your thoughts on cannabis businesses using the banks? Plus bad news for Ross Ulbricht.
Stocks and options trading involves financial risk and is not suitable for all investors.
Fire your stockbroker and hire yourself. I'm Scott Bauer, and I've been a professional trader for over 25 years. I've traded for Goldman Sachs and was the first Amazon market maker at the Chicago Board Options Exchange. I'm also the CEO here at Prosper Trading Academy, the leading educational firm teaching people how to trade the markets. For a limited time, I'm giving away one of my favorite secret trading techniques used by thousands of our students every day to help build their financial future. To learn this technique right now, call my 24/7 voicemail and just leave your email address. I'll email you my free trading technique right away. Just call 1-800-228-2155. This is the very information my students use every day to invest in their financial future. Again, call 1-800-228-2155 in the next 30 minutes and leave your email address on my voicemail. That's 1-800-228-2155. Call 1-800-228-2155.
So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com. There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene, the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Thursday, June 28th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.03 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,251 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $17, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,121. Antiwar.com reports Russian officials confirmed on Wednesday that a deal had been reached on holding a summit between President Trump and President Putin. Though the two have met twice on the sideline of international events, this will be the first direct summit with the Russian leader of Trump's time in office. Officials have said a date and time are set, but what they are has yet to be made public. Reports have suggested it will take place in the next few weeks, however, and will be in a third country, with Helsinki, Finland suggested as a probable location. With allegations still swirling about Russian meddling in the 2016 election, President Trump has been very cautious with his diplomatic ties with Russian officials. This has meant that despite substantial issues to be addressed, the U.S. has much less engagement with Russia than in years past. John Bolton, who was in Moscow negotiating the summit, says that President Trump will be raising a full range of issues during the summit. He downplayed the significance of the meeting, saying he did not view the summit as anything unusual, which normally wouldn't be. U.S. and Russian presidents have met quite often. That Trump has not done so formally in the last 18 months is much more unusual, however, and the political circus still swirling around the election will likely make the summit controversial, particularly for Trump's political opponents. Zencash is the world's first private, distributed, and reliable platform for communications, transactions, and publishing. Zencash has the ability to use both transparent and shielded transactions, with shielded transactions using zero-knowledge proofs. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zencash.com. UPI reports after weeks of negotiations and a last-minute Twitter endorsement by President Donald Trump, the House on Wednesday rejected the GOP's compromise immigration bill. The bill was rejected by a vote of 121 to 301, which was well short of the 218 votes needed to pass. No Democrats voted for the bill. Earlier Wednesday, Trump had urged House Republicans to back the bill despite telling them last week to wait until after midterm elections to bother with any reform measures. Under the proposal, children who cross the border with parents or other adult guardians in violation of immigration laws would no longer be separated, an issue that stirred significant controversy last week and led to a presidential order and federal court ruling. The bill would have required children to be released after 20 days, still apart from parents who continued to be detained. Unaccompanied children would be returned to their home countries. Included in the bill was nearly $25 billion for a border wall on the U.S.-Mexico border, a project sharply opposed by Democrats, but Trump had said it was required for his signature. The bill would have also allowed a path to citizenship for 3.6 million DACA recipients, or Dreamers. Democrats, though, said the bill would have made that path much more difficult. The Cato Institute estimated eligibility restrictions in the bill would only result in about 12% of Dreamers becoming U.S. citizens. Last week, Republican leaders in the House rescheduled the vote on Ryan's moderate version after rejecting a more conservative proposal. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports the U.S. Supreme Court on Wednesday dealt a blow to organized labor, ruling that non-members cannot be forced in certain states to pay fees to unions representing public employees such as teachers and police, shutting off a key union revenue source. The 5-4 ruling overturned a 1977 Supreme Court precedent that had permitted these so-called agency fees, which have been collected from millions of workers who opt not to join unions in lieu of union dues to fund non-political activities such as collective bargaining. The court's conservative justices were in the majority, with the liberal justices dissenting. In the majority ruling, authored by Justice Samuel Alito, the court said forcing non-members to pay these fees to unions whose views they may oppose violates their rights to free speech and free association under the U.S. Constitution's First Amendment. Alito wrote states and public sector unions may no longer extract agency fees from non-consenting employees. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Hewlett-Packard is known for their basic, no-frills computers, but that doesn't mean they can't keep up with the latest technology. In a press release yesterday, HP said, quote, "We are excited to begin offering that cloud thing that everyone is talking about. We definitely have the cloud on our computers, and it is better than anyone else's cloud." Earlier today, I sat down with HP spokesman Gary Klinman, who said the company couldn't wait to show people, quote, how they do their cloud stuff.
We are absolutely thrilled that now people with computers or phones, both will now be able to back things up to the cloud.
Klinman says it isn't surprising they're, quote, up on the cloud, considering they're on the cutting edge of all the latest tech trends. Are there any additional features?
Crowdsourcing is something we are having. Crowdsourcing 2.0. We have social sharing. We have 5G, 6G, really all the Gs. We have app. We have all of it in the computer.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. That's how you can call in and join us. Or there's also the Skype, where you can find us, username LRN.FM. And the Discord thing has a call-in line. I might not see you jump in that call-in line as soon as you jump in, so just hang out. We'll get to you. Discord.lrn.fm. In studio tonight, it's Daryl.
And Heather.
And Chris.
And Chris, you've got a story here from Reason about something that we have been following fairly closely here on Free Talk Live for the last couple of years. And after the recent Carpenter decision by the U.S. Supreme Court, Carpenter being the case name, it did not involve someone nailing trees and wood together. Carpenter, the last name of the person, was a fairly important Fourth Amendment case, and there was a lot of excitement thinking, this might wind up setting some good precedent, and maybe the Supreme Court will wind up hearing the Ross Ulbricht appeal.
Yeah, and Daryl, maybe I know a lot of people aren't familiar with the name Ross Ulbricht. Ross Ulbricht was the guy who was convicted of running the Silk Road, which was a dark web online marketplace where people sold in an open marketplace a variety of things. So some of those things were DVDs and things like that. And some of those things were drugs.
Yes.
And some of those things were other things that the government frowns upon.
None of those things were weapons or child pornography.
Right. That was some internal rules that they had. And
right. But it's something that a lot of people, when they hear dark web, so he was selling drugs and no, there was no child porn. There were no weapons.
Yeah. But it's important for people to understand that. And in response to basically operating a website, that's what he was doing. He wasn't, I don't believe, a actual buyer or seller. Not saying he didn't buy anything. Was he selling?
From what I have read, there were allegations that he made one of the first sales.
Right.
But other than that, he was the operator of the site.
Yeah.
And then it's arguable whether or not he operated the site the entire time that it was up.
Correct.
Where he alleges that he did not. There's an interview with someone that was using the pseudonym Dread Pirate Roberts, who in that interview with, I believe it was Vice, talked about how he wound up taking over the site from someone previous.
Right.
No, what I don't understand is, right, people like Ross Ulbricht, for example, obviously he's got to be somewhat smart if he's running this whole operation and he's doing all this stuff. He's a person of, a certain level IQ, I guess.
Yes.
But why were people like him not using their intelligence to, if they believed in what they were doing and they obviously he has enough of a conscience to where he doesn't want to work with people that are into like child pornography and disgusting stuff like that, then why wouldn't he use his intelligence for good, in the sense like try to change the system as opposed to just doing it on the dark web? Why not be like an advocate in, just
because sometimes you do have to throw it in the state's face. And I think that's a lot of what Ross wanted to do, or if Ross was indeed Dread Pirate Roberts, the operator of the Silk Road. The point of the Silk Road, in his words, were to demonstrate that a bunch of people could come together voluntarily. And keep in mind, like posts from Dread Pirate Roberts on the Silk Road would reference books by Mises and Rothbard, very well-known libertarian thinkers. So this was a guy who really appears to have understood the ideas of liberty. His thing was, why people are going to do this anyway, and why should people who buy drugs or sell drugs live in fear? Maybe there's a better way we can do this. And, and
one of the major differences of an online marketplace like Silk Road and buying from some guy on the corner is that when you're buying on the Silk Road, you can read reviews of other customers to where they say, this is exactly what this person advertised, or they say this was not what the person advertised. If you tell the guy on the street corner, hey, this wasn't what you advertised, chances are, if you're lucky, he punches you in the face.
Right.
If you're not lucky, he shoots you.
Right. And when you implement rating systems and things like that, think of Amazon. When you go to Amazon and you're checking out, the newest toaster oven that you want to buy, what are you going to do? You're going to sort it by ratings. You're going to see which one fits your prices. And
even then, there's so much fraud. There's people that get paid to go leave good reviews on stuff.
There are.
Even if the product sucks.
But that also means that Amazon came up with the verified purchaser. So you can look at a review and see whether this person actually bought this item and as they say they did.
Something else, and I've been doing this recently when buying things on Amazon, I'll sort by most recent.
Right.
And if there are a bunch of really bad recent reviews or a bunch of really good, and if they're written very badly, and you can kind of tell the ones that are fake reviews by the way they're written, you sort of discard those and then sort of take an average of what's left.
Right. And there was a lot of hope.
Yes.
There was a lot of hope. And we'll talk a little bit about the penalty here. So you run an illegal website and people go there and they advertise drugs and other people come and buy it. What kind of a sentence do you think you would get? Compared to, let's say...
the people that were convicted of selling drugs on the Silk Road got sentences, I believe, ranging from 10 to 20 years.
Wow. Okay, so the guy who was just running the website, basically the admin who was just pushing the buttons and making sure everything operated correctly, he must have got something less than that, maybe 5 years, Daryl?
No,
maybe?
Come on.
10
if
years?
He's the one running it all, he's like the mastermind.
Yeah.
That's the way they look at it.
They hit him with the so-called kingpin charge.
Exactly.
He got
Right.
2 life sentences plus 40 years. And part of that...
2 life sentences plus 40 years.
And part of that is because he was not repentant
And this is in
about what he
California?
did.
Right.
No, his...
What state is he in?
Court hearing was in the Federal District Court in Manhattan.
Yeah.
Judge
New
Catherine
York.
Forrest. I forget at what stage, asked him if he was repentant about what he had done.
Thug
and
life.
he was not, and he stands by his libertarian beliefs.
Yeah.
He is the definition of a political prisoner in the United States.
Yeah, that is certainly an opinion that I think a lot of people of a libertarian mindset take. A lot of people who are hardcore, law and order say, "Well, good, you got him off the street." Interestingly, the entire effect of the Silk Road going away, did that cause drug usage and sales in the U.S. to go up, down, or stay about the same? That's a trick question.
I know my thoughts after just reading that brief article on one of the breaks about how it costs more to house an inmate in California than a year at Harvard.
Right.
Yeah, it's literally, there's 130,000 inmates in California, $75,000 a year. It's at an all-time high. So when I think of people selling drugs, is it really worth a year at Harvard to put them there? No.
Right. And are you going to change anything?
Encourage,
So here's what happened when the Silk Road finally went away.
Yeah.
Nothing.
No,
the amount of
not nothing.
No.
Nothing.
I'm going to talk in terms of drug usage across the country.
Oh, you're talking terms of drug use.
Yes.
I'm talking. There are more online marketplaces on the dark web now. There are more listings on those online marketplaces now than there were when the Silk Road was shut down.
Exactly.
But the claim was we have to shut down the Silk Road, and that will just make all of the online markets go away.
Exactly, right, Daryl? That never works. When the government tells you they have to take a drastic action, violate people's civil liberties for the greater good, that means, number one, it's going to violate everybody's civil liberties, and it won't work.
Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. Plus, we'll actually tell you the latest on Ross Ulbricht.
From the sixth letter of Captain Mark. A pirate's life is characterized by voluntary interactions. Unfortunately, the Crown presses everyone into involuntary servitude. Landlubbers believe slavery was abolished years ago, but the Crown still claims to own us when it crimps us into service against our will. Given sufficient ambition, it would gladly draft thousands of hapless victims to kill or be killed. It's simply slavery by another name. Landlubbers are routinely commanded to serve the so-called justice system in jury duty. But before you swell with civic pride, consider that how you feel is irrelevant to the Crown. You will appear as ordered or face punitive measures. The Crown insists that you participate in your own oppression. A jury summons provides pirates with a unique opportunity to obstruct injustices. A juror can vote not guilty, even if it's proven the law was violated. A juror can acquit for any reason at all, and not even a judge can reverse that verdict. Receiving a jury summons is basically winning the sedition lottery. But if you reveal that you know this during jury selection, you'll probably be dismissed. If the Crown foolishly crimps a pirate into jury duty, it behooves the pirate to conceal their intention to nullify unjust laws. If a master takes 100% of your labor, it's called slavery. But if they only take 50%, they call it taxation, a difference of degree, not of kind. Whether the Crown claims a fortune or a cent is irrelevant. Most of all, a slave owner desires contented slaves, meaning thoughtless ones that accept their bondage. These house slaves see no contradiction in being drafted in a war to end slavery or summoned to a jury to prosecute tax evasion. An ideal slave knows no higher call than the master's will. The Crown's highest ambition is that its slaves revere the authority that subjugates them. But the Crown does not own me. I will not surrender my time and treasure to the Crown's ambitions. Join the conversation at pirateswithoutborders.com.
The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com. twitch.freekeen.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855 450 free. That's 855 450 3733. We'll jump into this story from Reason about Ross Ulbricht here in just a moment. But first, want to tell you about a site that you can go to learn all kinds of news about Bitcoin and other cryptocurrency related things. And, you know, a lot of people sort of credit the Silk Road for making Bitcoin, well, usable.
Yeah.
Because it was one of the first places that accepted cryptocurrency, and I don't think that the Silk Road or something like it would exist absent cryptocurrency, because it did allow for money to be transferred without the use of banks. But here, the news site is news.bitcoin.com. And speaking of banks, and well, not exactly a bank, Uphold, it's a company that allows for multiple currencies to be used and transacted and traded. Apparently, they are acquiring JNK Securities, and, well, they might wind up doing an ICO or trading ICOs, something along those lines. Headline on that story over at news.bitcoin.com from just a few hours ago. Again, you can find that and more over at news.bitcoin.com.
Yes, so we've been talking about Ross Ulbricht, who was alleged to be the Dread Pirate Roberts, the mastermind behind the Silk Road, and he was arrested and subsequently charged in federal court and sentenced not to 5 years, 10 years, not 20 years, not 50 years, but to 2 consecutive life sentences plus 40 years. So I guess that means if you survive the electric chair once, twice, then we're still going to tack 40 years onto your life sentence.
Well, luckily, they're not throwing him in an electric chair. There is no death penalty.
So if he lives to old age,
effective death, he's going to die in prison unless somebody gives him a pardon.
Yeah, and a lot of us had hopes that the Supreme Court would review this case, and it looks,
especially in light of the recent Carpenter decision that we did talk about when that came out last week, I think it was.
Yes. Yeah. Now, Carpenter was the one that discussed this was a Fourth Amendment case that talked about
cell site location.
Right. Well, it was about electronic surveillance and whether police were required to have a warrant to use that data. And as it turns out, the Supreme Court announced this morning that it will not reconsider the conviction and life sentence without parole of Ross Ulbricht, convicted for various crimes associated with founding and operating the dark web site Silk Road. The Supreme Court typically does not explain such rejections. It's a shame they aren't required to explain themselves, because the sea change in Fourth Amendment jurisprudence the Supremes affected with last week's Carpenter decision definitely means that the way the government used warrantless searches of Ulbricht's computer use in arresting and convicting him are far less obviously legal than the Second Court of Appeals in considering Ulbricht's appeal were required to see them by pre-Carpenter precedent. That was the most awkward sentence I think I've ever read accurately.
Yes, and that was a fairly lengthy, awkwardly written sentence from Reason.
That's okay. They do it every once in a while, but they're generally pretty good. It's not that Carpenter, which was about cell phone records and not internet data, unequivocally dictates that Ulbricht should have won on appeal had the court considered his case. But the entire Fourth Amendment environment under which he was arrested and convicted is so different now that a thorough rethinking was definitely in order. The Fourth Amendment wasn't the only issue the court had a posit opportunity to rethink with Ulbricht's case. His life sentence without parole was based on accusations he was never actually tried on, namely that he was involved in planning uncommitted murders for hire. That raises important Sixth Amendment questions that at least Justices Thomas and Gorsuch have shown past interest in rethinking if the right case came along.
Right. So let me rephrase this just a bit, and then we will get to the Discord. Part of the reason that Ross Ulbricht got such a lengthy sentence is because of an allegation that he was never actually charged with and never actually convicted of.
Right.
Plus, it's an allegation that they later found out, oh, yeah, this thing didn't even happen, but we're just going to say that we think he did the thing, and so therefore 2 life sentences plus 40 years. I've heard, I have no proof, but I have heard that the judge that convicted Ross Ulbricht, I've heard that she rapes baby penguins. That's an impeachable offense, right?
Yes, she should be impeached. Though we don't want to have to introduce that into court or offer any proof, we'll just throw that out there. And that's basically what she did. And for those of you who may not be familiar with the Sixth Amendment, this is the one that guarantees you the right to a speedy and public trial. In all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and public trial by an impartial jury of the state and district where the crime shall have been committed, which district shall have been previously ascertained by law, and be informed of the nature and cause of the accusation, to be confronted with the witnesses against him, which brings up the question of speeding cameras and things like that, to have compulsory process for obtaining witnesses in his favor, and to have the assistance of counsel for his defense. So that's the constitutional amendment, which gives you those things that they say when they read you your Miranda rights.
Supposedly gives you those things.
Well,
I would
let
say
me
it
rephrase
recognizes
you.
those things.
Thank you, Daryl. And I
but
fall
whether
into
or not governments actually wind up abiding by what they are supposed to is a completely different question. Let's go to the Discord and we'll continue this discussion. We've got Stefan calling in as Blood Clot. You're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Hey, first of all, I wanted to point out that life sentences actually are not a life sentence. I believe they have a certain amount of time. I believe it's 65 years. Second of all, I wanted to ask you a question, Daryl.
Go ahead.
Are you actually supporting anybody for chair for the National Libertarian Party?
I intend to speak on behalf of none of the above in New Orleans for chair, and I intend to also either for every other office, either vote for none of the above or Star Child, just as a protest vote, because I really like Star Child.
Oh, you're not going to vote for Karen Ann Harlow for secretary?
I may or may not. I might just go ahead and vote for Noda on that as well. I personally like Karen Ann Harlow's. I think she would do a good job as secretary, but I think she's got that locked up.
Oh, okay. So you don't support anybody for chair. I was just curious because I hadn't seen you put anything out, an endorsement for anybody.
No, but I do intend to speak on behalf of none of the above.
Nick. I'd probably stick with Nick.
I think Nick is certainly a lot better than Josh Smith, who I had a very nasty experience with at the LPO convention. If you'd like, I could share that story.
Yeah, let's hold him over.
I'm
curious.
I'm curious to hear about that. I don't normally like getting into party drama.
That's what the world revolves
especially
around.
on a nationally syndicated talk radio show, but maybe it'll be interesting. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
If you like alkaline water, or know someone that does, you're going to love the Dillon Living Water Bottle. It creates alkaline water on the go while reducing plastic waste and saving you money. Made with surgical-grade stainless steel, the Dillon bottle increases the pH up to 9 to deliver both alkaline and antioxidant water anywhere you want it. Alkaline water is healthier, tastes better, and can even boost energy. The Dillon bottle makes it easy and affordable to be healthy and achieve optimal hydration. Get your Dillon bottle today at dyln.co. That's dyln.co.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Love what we do? Please help support our international satellite channels at patreon.lrn.fm. That's patreon.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. In studio tonight, it's Daryl.
And Heather.
And Chris.
And Chris, what is this Discord thing?
The Discord. Discord is an app. It's a website you can go to. You can load it up, and it was originally started by gamers, so they would have a way to communicate with each other during games. But now many companies and many organizations create their own Discord servers, and Free Talk Live runs one. And you have a lot of not only text chat rooms, but voice chat rooms and messaging back and forth. And hundreds of people that follow this show have joined our Discord server. So it's been one of the more successful, I would say, social media experiments we've done around here.
And that can be found at discord.lrn.fm?
I think you're right.
Discord.lrn.fm. And the aforementioned voice chat. I think you mentioned voice chat.
Yes.
Or at least I know I did in the last segment.
Yep,
voice chat is in the Discord, and we've got a caller in the Discord voice chat. Stefan calling in as Blood Clot. And when I said that, Heather made like a audible groan the first time. Why Blood Clot?
It's just gross.
Oh, why? Okay, this
Kinda
is an interesting story. It's very short, but it was because back in May, I was taking these vitamin C supplements, but I was taking the wrong ones, and they caused my blood to get so thin that they tried to stick an IV in me, and blood like shot everywhere, and they had to give me vitamin K through an IV to actually clot the blood up.
Interesting.
Alrighty then.
Oh, wow.
Thank you for
so
that.
you had a story about someone running for the
Joshua Smith.
Libertarian Party National Party chairmanship. You had an interaction with him when he went to Ohio not too terribly long ago.
Well, what happened was we went out to a big rock festival. You may have heard of it. It's called Rock on the Range. It's a huge thing in Columbus.
Never heard of it.
He decided to come with us to get signatures. And there were these people in the parking lot that were very friendly to us. And then
I just want to make sure that people know when you say going to collect signatures, you're not finding like famous people and getting signatures so you can sell on eBay. You're trying to help get the Libertarian Party on the ballot there in Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which is extremely difficult here.
Yep.
But
thanks, John Kasich.
Yeah, but what ended up happening was there were these people in the parking lot that were like, hey, y'all want some whiskey? And, everybody else took it and I didn't. And for the rest of that entire day in the parking lot when we were collecting ballot signatures, Josh Smith continually called me a slang term for a kitty cat repeatedly.
Okay.
That's not nice.
And said I was a complete, you're a wuss, come on, be a man. And later that night at the fundraiser, a lot of people were getting either stoned or drunk. I kind of think it was just a big excuse.
Were you the designated driver?
Oh, no, I don't drive. I don't believe in driver's licenses. But and then even there, I again refused to drink. Everybody was taking shots and I wasn't. And Josh kept calling me that little slang term and call me a wuss and say, well, are you even here if you're not here for a good time? And I'm thinking, is this the kind of person you want in charge of the entire party? I mean, I don't like Nicholas Sarwark and I don't like Matt Kleinel, I think his name is. He's some communist running for the party chair. But Josh was incredibly rude to me and was one of the key people telling everybody to kick me out of the convention, which ended up happening.
Wow.
Well, it goes to show you can get libertarians to found their own political party and they can act just like Republicans and Democrats. So we got that going for us, right?
Yeah, this is the first national convention I didn't go to as a delegate since I joined the party back in 2014. So
gotcha.
Well, and it kind of made me realize, that day, the Saturday when the actual nominating process took place for a lot of the elected offices, was maybe this is why we're not getting anything done. Maybe this is why the party isn't doing anything, because it's just one big excuse to have a kegger.
See, that's why I'm hoping. I know there's a lot of Bill Weld critics out there, but even if you don't like him, like if people that just carry themselves the way he does join the party, I'll be so happy. Because we need more professionals in the party and less like egotistical, like I just want to yell my opinion from a podium people.
Well, then I say to that, and this is a problem that I think libertarians have always suffered with, is
lack of humility.
You need to attract those people there with the ideas. So there are, I've met a lot of people.
You need to attract people there by being respectful, not with ideas. Because when you think it's the idea, you think, okay, if someone doesn't agree with my idea, that means I can be rude to them. I can be. And you know what? That's communication failure 101. All right. If you can't
I can't go out. I couldn't even consider it. I'm not a member of the Libertarian Party, but I'm not going to join a party that is just going to go out there and look for the most electable kind of guy. I do know that the more people that understand the messages of liberty, the more people are going to come through and into that big tent. The odds of us finding somebody amongst our own who can look good, who can speak eloquently, and can appear presidential, that number grows, and it grows by leaps and bounds. When you have such a small party that's sort of fractured, the people that we end up getting are the people who kind of get it right now, and then you get a couple people that are going to play the professional politician angle and say, hey, I can at least put on my resume that I was nominated to the Libertarian nominee, but I don't really buy everything that Libertarian is about. And that's the difference.
And I don't think we should be bringing people into the party necessarily that act like politicians, because people are tired of that nonsense.
No,
I'm not saying have I'm not saying have everybody be like a vermin supreme, but if we could have people that can act respectable, but
it's
not
just professional. It's not politicians. You go I've been going to a lot of events here in Concord, Concord, New Hampshire, Manchester, all the big cities and stuff like that, going to events with local, business owners and stuff like that. And when you go there, there's just a certain level of professionalism. So it has nothing to do with politician necessarily. It's just a professionalist way to be.
Right.
And politicians tend to do that because it's a good way to be.
Sure.
But you brought up Bill Weld as an example.
Yeah, I know Bill Weld, though.
Who was chosen specifically because, hey, he's more electable, he's more like a politician.
That's not true. That's not why I chose him. That was definitely a factor.
Yeah, and I think we'll see it. And I think you looked at a Bill Weld and said, here's a guy who sounds great. He delivers most of the libertarian message, and he's got a lot of great experience. So would he not have a broader...
And he has a track record for doing good things.
Would he not have a broader appeal to more people?
Yeah, people look down on his whole the gun thing back I don't know, back in the early 90s or something. Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff. If you actually look at some of the stuff, I mean, he was advocating for marriage equality and medical marijuana back in the early 90s when no one else would touch it. I mean, he was one of the first people advocating for that in a position of authority. I mean, you can hate him on the gun thing, his view on guns, which he's come around.
Gun thing, restrictive environmental regulations to the point that he put through in Massachusetts.
Yeah, he's his own person and has his own point of view based on a Harvard degree and being surrounded.
He didn't even care about his job. He quit his job to climb the political ladder and be ambassador to Mexico.
Yeah.
Why is that a bad thing?
Well,
because you're not serving.
He had an opportunity. No, because he didn't do it negligently. He believed that the person that was going to take over for him, leaving behind, was going to do the job, and he thought he would better serve the community as being an ambassador to Mexico. What is the big deal about that?
I get it. I'm gonna jump in here.
One job and went to another.
I'm gonna jump in here real quick, and I'm gonna acknowledge both of your points. You believe he's an electable guy who has done a lot of good in the past, and Stefan disagrees with that. That's okay.
I think a lot of people are intimidated because Bill Weld actually has a history of working with prominent people. And I think they assume because of that he's corrupt and he's just like the rest of them. Because unless you're an unelectable anarchist libertarian that can't hold a job, then you must be a statist.
Stefan, thank you for the call. Man. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. Imagine this is you. You're working late when you get an alert on your smartphone. Your motion-activated Blink security camera picked up something at home. You pop open the Blink app and see the silhouette of a man peering through your kitchen window. You dial 911 and the police roll. The job of a home security system is to help stop crime, which is why I chose Blink. Get 3 Blink cams for way less than the other guys, plus an extra 15% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. blinkprotect.com/FTL.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH, with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin, BTC, and Bitcoin Cash, BCH. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com. That's wallet.bitcoin.com.
Want revenge on the common housefly? Well, after 10,000 years, someone has finally come up with a better way. The Bug Assault, a miniaturized shotgun, which utilizes ordinary table salt as ammunition. Non-toxic and no batteries required. So much fun, you'll forget you have a wife and kids. $39.95 and free economy shipping. Use discount code GCN and get an extra 10% off your purchase at bugassault.com. Fire your fly swatter. Get your Bug Assault today.
This is Fred.
Hi, I'm Fred.
Fred's a repeater.
I tend to repeat.
Fred has a business.
I do have a business.
And a problem. Fred repeats the same tired advertising over and over, and now it doesn't work.
Over and over.
But Fred is about to see a vision.
I'm seeing a vision.
Advertising on the Genesis Communications Network is the smart way for Fred to reach his potential customers with the most affordable national advertising rates, period. Get started today with GCN, the Genesis Communications Network. Just email advertise@gcnlive.com.
Did you know that 35% of high school girls report that they've only had sex with 1 or 2 partners a year, instead of having the living shit out of them by any guy they see?
Did you know that only half of all 17-year-old males report without a condom, even though it's really the only way to go?
There are thousands of American teenagers today who are unaware of the full benefits of your brains out all day, every day. These otherwise average high schoolers haven't been taught about every chance you get, pounding each other dry and never ever pulling out. Every sexually active high school student should know this stuff. Ditch the condoms, because it's always better raw. Stop worrying about STDs. Every chance you get. Just keep and and strangers, doesn't matter who. And most importantly, be direct with your partner about how badly you want to their brains out.
This is the Onion News Network.
Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live shows 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster. So be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. In studio tonight, it's Daryl.
And Heather.
And Chris.
And I want to tell you about a pillow that I'm actually going to miss over the weekend.
Oh, you're not taking it with you?
No, because of luggage and room and whatnot. I don't think I'm going to have room. Even though I did buy a bigger luggage case.
Right.
I'm just taking, I want to make sure that I've got enough clothes, and I'm going to New Orleans. It's going to be really hot. I'm going to sweat. I'm going to want to change clothes.
We want you to then, too.
Yeah. So I will miss my pillow when I'm down in New Orleans over the weekend. And my pillow, it's a really good pillow because it's designed to help me get a good night's sleep. It's designed to keep my head in the proper position, keep my neck and back aligned, and you too can try your very own MyPillow, and you can try it risk-free for 60 days. So you really have nothing to lose. Go to MyPillow.com. Get 2 MyPillow premium pillows for one low price, and you also get free shipping on all orders when you use promo code FTL, as in Free Talk Live. And remember, if for some reason you don't like your MyPillow, you have 60 days to return it for a full refund. MyPillow.com, promo code FTL. So, Chris, let's jump back into this article here from Reason.com about the unfortunate news for Ross Ulbricht, his legal team, and especially his family that came out earlier today.
Yeah, and I think this is a sad day for citizens who could have, like a good ruling in a Ulbricht case, could have protected a lot of people from an overreaching federal government. But that did not happen, so we've talked a little bit about how the Supreme Court has decided not to rehear the conviction and life sentence of Ross Ulbricht.
And again, the Supreme Court, as the article points out, typically does not explain why they choose not to hear a case.
Right. And there was another court case, another Supreme Court case that got decided, or a decision, not a decision, but an opinion was handed down recently, which was the Carpenter case, which basically said that no, if law enforcement or the government in any way is going to use your location data, even if it was provided to them by a third party like your cell phone company, you still have a reasonable expectation of privacy. In other words, the federal government, or I should say, federal governments can't just compel any cell phone company to turn over records to them without some kind of a warrant, which means they've gone before a judge.
Correct.
They presented some evidence that indicates that you've actually performed a crime.
Or that they have reason to believe that you performed a crime, not just, hey, we're doing an investigation and we think that you might have some evidence that will help us out, so just give us like every piece of paper that you've ever even looked at, ever.
Right. So the Carpenter decision will have dramatic repercussions, I think, over a long time. And this Supreme Court, I will say, seems to be eager to jump on Fourth Amendment cases and seems to be finding them in a more liberty-minded fashion.
Yes.
But I'm going to continue on with this story. Ulbricht's lawyer, Canon Shanmugam, wrote in an earlier memo to Amici in the case for the actual crimes he was convicted on. Quote, Ulbricht's sentencing guidelines range would have resulted in a recommended sentence of, at most, 30 years in prison, unquote. Despite the manifest injustice of sentencing based on crimes never proven in court, quote, the court has previously declined to grant certiorari on petitions presenting this question, unquote, of sentences based on unadjudicated accusations.
Right. And again, let's point out here that the lawyer is saying, hey, if you went by the actual sentencing guidelines,
right,
then Ross Ulbricht should have gotten 30 years in prison.
Yep. Not that he should have been free, not that it should have been dismissed if you just followed your guidelines.
Instead, Ross Ulbricht was given 2 life sentences plus 40 years.
Right.
Which is a lot more than 30 years in prison.
Right, it is.
And again, they based part of this off of some unproven, uncharged, or unfiled charges, meaning that they just said some stuff, and the judge was like, oh, well, that's really bad. We're adding extra time. Even if he was convicted of that crime, the sentence for that crime was 10 years.
Right.
Meaning that based on their own rules, the maximum that he should have gotten was 40 years. Instead, he got 2 life sentences plus 40 years.
Yeah, it's insane, and I hope that we continue to see more challenges against us, because it was a horrendous decision by that judge. As a cert petition for Ulbricht explains, it's hard to imagine a better example of the consequences of runaway judicial fact-finding than this case. Petitioner, a young man with no criminal history, was sentenced to life imprisonment without the possibility of parole for drug crimes that do not ordinarily carry that sentence, based substantially on numerous factual findings made by the sentencing judge by a preponderance of the evidence.
So, in criminal cases, you are supposed to be found guilty beyond a reasonable doubt.
Right.
That means that there's absolutely no doubt at all as to whether or not the person did the thing.
Right.
Preponderance of evidence is, well, there's enough evidence to suggest that the person may have done the thing.
Yeah, so she ruled based on a preponderance of evidence, and that is incorrect.
So if I were to allege, not that eating a roast beef sandwich is illegal, but if I were to allege, Chris, that you ate a roast beef sandwich, and then I asked you a series of questions of where did you go for lunch today?
Right.
Well, where did you go for lunch today?
Taco Bell.
Is there a place that sells roast beef within a mile of Taco Bell?
Yes, there is, Daryl.
So it's very possible that you could have made a sandwich before or after going to Taco Bell, correct?
I guess. Sure.
So therefore, you are guilty of eating a roast beef sandwich because there's enough, like you can put things together.
Dude, that is so weird, Daryl.
Daryl's framing me. He's framing me. I didn't eat the roast beef sandwich, Daryl, damn it.
Dude,
So you say.
No. Listen to this, guys. I'm not even joking. Today was the first day I've ever eaten a roast beef sandwich for lunch.
So Heather pled guilty to eating the roast beef sandwich.
See, I'm off.
Even though
she did it.
No. We've already convicted you. Double jeopardy.
Right.
Something. So now you have to beg the court for leniency and use her confession, but then she goes to court and winds up denying her confession.
I didn't want to buy lunch, and they were left over from an event, so I was like, sure, I'll take them. I hate roast beef, but I didn't want to pay for lunch.
It's only a couple weeks old. Most reasonable people would agree judges shouldn't hand down sentences for crimes never proven in court.
I do think that most reasonable people would agree that, yes.
Yes. It's a question that, in addition to the very important Fourth Amendment implications, make Ulbricht's case one urgently requiring rethinking. Unfortunately, and for reasons unknown, the Supreme Court did not agree. Ulbricht's mother, Lynn, has been a tireless crusader explaining the injustices involving the investigation and sentencing of her son. In a written statement this morning, she says this is devastating news for Ross and our family. She goes on to explain why even Americans who might have no particular sympathy for her or her son personally should also be discouraged. The court's declining to reconsider his case is, quote, also a blow to privacy rights and protections. While the Carpenter decision establishes that the government must obtain a warrant to search our cell phone records, Ross's case is much more far-reaching. With this denial of certiorari and its arguments, the court continues to permit government to secretly track our internet browsing history and activity with no warrant, oversight, or probable cause. Internet, lost my spot there.
I've got it in front of me. I can finish reading
oversight
here.
Or probable cause. Internet activity often offers up a wide range of personal and relevant information, including religious and political affiliations, sexual orientation and activity, medical informations, apps, etc. Surely it is in the spirit of the Fourth Amendment that obtaining and using this information, at the least, should require a warrant. Today's order puts all our privacy in peril and bolsters the surveillance state.
Yeah.
It really was.
Sadly,
so,
it does.
Yeah. But again, I hopefully some case will bring these issues before the court yet again, and we can only hope that they see fit to take a look.
Hopefully. I'm definitely not holding my breath on this. I think at this point the best case scenario is a pardon or some form of clemency. This is Free Talk Live, 855-450 free.
Normal blood pressure, naturally. How would that make you feel?
I'm Don from New Mexico. January of 2000, I had a heart attack. Then my real health began going downhill. I had high blood pressure, diabetes, poor vision. I wasn't sleeping well. I was a mess.
Don reports dramatic improvements with Heart and Body Extract.
I started taking Heart and Body Extract. From within a few days, I started sleeping better. My blood pressure normalized. My diabetes normalized. My sleep improved.
Experience these benefits and more when your body heals itself with the assistance of Heart and Body Extract. Order at hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305. That's hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305.
And folks, I did not expect this at all. By the 7th, 8th, and 9th day, I saw dramatic improvements from taking Heart and Body Extract.
Heart and Body Extract comes with a 100% ironclad money-back guarantee. Details at hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305 for Heart and Body Extract.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Daryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Thursday, June 28th, 2018. Silver is trading at $16.03 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,251 per ounce. Zencash is trading at $17, and the average price of Bitcoin is $6,121. Antiwar.com reports Russian officials confirmed on Wednesday that a deal had been reached on holding a summit between President Trump and President Putin. Though the two have met twice on the sideline of international events, this will be the first direct summit with the Russian leader of Trump's time in office. Officials have said a date and time are set, but what they are has yet to be made public. Reports have suggested it will take place in the next few weeks, however, and will be in a third country, with Helsinki, Finland suggested as a probable location. With allegations still swirling about Russian meddling in the 2016 election, President Trump has been very cautious with his diplomatic ties with Russian officials. This has meant that despite substantial issues to be addressed, the U.S. has much less engagement with Russia than in years past. John Bolton, who was in Moscow negotiating the summit, says that President Trump will be raising a full range of issues during the summit. He downplayed the significance of the meeting, saying he did not view the summit as anything unusual, which normally wouldn't be. U.S. and Russian presidents have met quite often. That Trump has not done so formally in the last 18 months is much more unusual, however, and the political circus still swirling around the election will likely make the summit controversial, particularly for Trump's political opponents. Zencash is the world's first private, distributed, and reliable platform for communications, transactions, and publishing. Zencash has the ability to use both transparent and shielded transactions, with shielded transactions using zero-knowledge proofs. Zencash features global governance with inclusive decision-making, reliable funding for continuous improvements, and documentation and wallets in many languages that are available for Linux, Mac, Windows, and Android devices. Learn more at zencash.com. UPI reports after weeks of negotiations and a last-minute Twitter endorsement by President Donald Trump, the House on Wednesday rejected the GOP's compromise immigration bill. The bill was rejected by a vote of 121 to 301, which was well short of the 218 votes needed to pass. No Democrats voted for the bill. Earlier Wednesday, Trump had urged House Republicans to back the bill, despite telling them last week to wait until after midterm elections to bother with any reform measures. Under the proposal, children who cross the border with parents who are or other adult guardians in violation of immigration laws would no longer be separated, an issue that stirred significant controversy last week and led to a presidential order and federal court ruling. The bill would have required children to be released after 20 days, still apart from parents who continued to be detained. Unaccompanied children would be returned to their home countries. Included in the bill was nearly $25 billion for a border wall on the U.S.-Mexico border, a project sharply opposed by Democrats, but Trump had said it was required for his signature. The bill would have also allowed a path to citizenship for 3.6 million DACA recipients, or Dreamers. Democrats, though, said the bill would have made that path much more difficult. The Cato Institute estimated eligibility restrictions in the bill would only result in about 12% of Dreamers becoming U.S. citizens. Last week, Republican leaders in the House rescheduled the vote on Ryan's moderate version after rejecting a more conservative proposal. For over 40 years, Robertson Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals like gold and silver. And as a Bitcoin-preferred business, Robertson Roberts Brokerage has removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Robertson Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports the U.S. Supreme Court on Wednesday dealt a blow to organized labor, ruling that non-members cannot be forced in certain states to pay fees to unions representing public employees such as teachers and police, shutting off a key union revenue source. The 5-4 ruling overturned a 1977 Supreme Court precedent that had permitted these so-called agency fees, which have been collected from millions of workers who opt not to join unions in lieu of union dues to fund non-political activities such as collective bargaining. The court's conservative justices were in the majority, with the liberal justices dissenting. In the majority ruling authored by Justice Samuel Alito, the court said forcing non-members to pay these fees to unions whose views they may oppose violates their rights to free speech and free association under the U.S. Constitution's First Amendment. Alito wrote states and public sector unions may no longer extract agency fees from non-consenting employees. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
While waiting to interview for a web consultant position with local marketing firm Bizco, applicant Ryan Ehrlich told Onion reporters he wasn't entirely sure he was dynamic enough for his prospective employer.
When I first saw that the agency was looking for a leader willing to contribute as a valued member of the team, I thought I was the perfect fit. But the more I think about it, the less I'm sure I'm actually an energetic self-starter. I mean, I think I'm a versatile independent thinker, but honestly, how do you even know for sure?
Ehrlich, who found Bizco's online job posting earlier this week, went on to express doubts that he truly possesses the forward-thinking instincts and next-generation idea assets required to work with the fast-paced marketing firm's team of self-starters.
Can I reimagine a brand for a digital landscape? Sure, but do I really have the energy, skills, enthusiasm, and passion to be a part of this dynamic, growth-oriented company? I just don't know. Oh God, who am I kidding? There's no way I'm on the cutting edge.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, kicking off hour number 3. You can call in and join us and bring up whatever is on your mind. The us in studio tonight is Daryl.
And Heather.
And Chris.
And the way that you can call in to join us would be dialing toll-free 855-450-3733. That's 855-450-FREE. And, well, we've mostly been on the topic of cannabis and drugs. Did have somebody call in about recreational mushrooms.
Yep.
The Ross Ulbricht appeal to the Supreme Court being denied. But we're going to change gears here and go something that may or may not be a little more lighthearted, if you will, and talk about the latest, shall we say, snitch to sort of become internet famous.
Yeah.
Woman being called Permit Patty.
Permit Patty.
For either actually calling the cops on an 8-year-old girl selling bottled water, or just threatening to call the cops on an 8-year-old girl selling water, where the initial reports were that she did call the cops, and then she later said, no, I didn't actually call the cops. I just pretended to call the cops.
Great.
So what's going on with this crazy lady?
Oh, well, she's resigned as CEO of a company after a major backlash from calling police on girl selling water. I'll tell you who she worked for. Studio City, California. The woman dubbed Permit Patty for threatening to call police on an 8-year-old black girl selling water on the street has stepped down as CEO of her own cannabis company. CBS Los Angeles reported the move follows a massive online backlash that resulted in her products getting dropped by other marijuana sellers. Several Bay Area dispensaries are now refusing to sell products made by Allison Edder's company, Treatwell Health, the San Francisco Chronicle reported Tuesday. Quote, "It is Miss Edder's belief that Treatwell, its employees, and patients should not have to suffer because of a situation that occurred in an escalated moment," unquote. Company spokesman Cynthia Gonzalez is quoted as saying in the paper. At least 3 marijuana dispensaries stated publicly that they would stop selling Treatwell products. Quote, "I forgot to mention that we had pulled Treatwell's products line as soon as we saw the video," unquote, said the manager of one San Francisco
there's an actual
store.
video?
There's video of this lady. That's how she got internet famous.
I mean, I saw the articles, but I didn't care enough to actually click and go in and like waste minutes of my life watching.
Oh, I didn't actually watch the video. I just saw that there was video.
Did you see it, Chris?
I have not, but we, quote, "we do not support that type of behavior." So basically what you have here is a lady who felt, I'm not even going to, she felt threatened. She didn't want people hanging out, but this girl was just selling bottles of water.
Without a permit.
Without a permit.
On a sidewalk.
On a sidewalk. That means you can get the state involved.
What I thought was like really bad was like how a lot of like, I think it was Fox News or whatever shared the story, and right when they shared it, they're like, "White woman calls cops on black girl selling water," like instantly making the whole issue about race thing.
Right.
And I'm like, really? Like, I think everybody's bet that like one person in the neighborhood that like, you know, calls the cops when the music is too loud, calls the cops because your leaf blower is too loud. Like growing up on the Cape, we had tons of people that were like that. So it's like, I feel like people like that would call no matter what kind of a person it is. It's just
there are some people that would, but then there are other people that, you know, whenever they get the chance to harass a minority, they're going to take it.
Right.
We'll continue with this discussion, but to the Discord, where we've got Old Dirty Mortified Penguin calling in. You're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts. And it looks like you're muted. Now you're unmuted.
Yeah, greetings, Minister and guys. I just wanted to give you guys a call. And I wanted to talk about. Can you hear me well, by the way?
Yep.
Yeah.
How's my audio? Okay, great.
We can hear ourselves as an echo, so make sure you turn that down.
Okay, let me see. Hold on.
If you've got headphones, use those.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Is that better? Okay.
Go ahead.
Great. I wanted to call about migration. That's one of the big topics that's going on. And I'm not going to be the guy to call up and take the anti-migration position, anti-immigration position. I'm not going to say they should come in legally. My father immigrated this country legally, which he did. But at the same time, and of course, I do consider myself to have a fairly liberty stance on migration. But at the same time, you have a large number of people, a surge of people, and it's not greatly up in the long term, but there's a surge of people, and they're coming over, claiming asylum status, and you know, in general, most people would say, "Oh yeah, legitimate asylum, legitimate refugees. We want to welcome them and help them out to some extent or another." But you know, we as liberty-minded people value the economic migrants because they contribute. You know, they do contribute to the society. They're not coming over to leech or take jobs or.
But some of them do.
Sure. And some people commit murder.
Yeah,
Florida Man does all kinds of horrible things, but I've never heard anybody say that Florida Man should be made illegal.
There's a good point. Go ahead.
It's just saw Florida from the rest of the country. No, but But we value the legitimate, of course, quote unquote, legitimate economic migrants that are coming over to contribute to the economy. That there's nuances to that. I'm just saying in a very general sense.
Right.
But at the same time, people that are coming, we want to be charitable. I believe in charity. I believe in charity full-heartedly. I believe we should welcome people that are refugees fleeing from a conflict. But there's a capacity for people to welcome large surges of people coming, and they're claiming asylum with the state. They're claiming asylum with the state. They're not coming over primarily to work. I'm sure that a lot of them are willing to work.
And once they do that and they don't have work, guess what they do? They get on state systems.
So you're saying that people that come here fleeing some bad situation, that they don't have work. If they don't have work, they will get assistance and they'll just stay there.
Yeah.
Okay. So here's my problem with that whole argument is, number one, you wouldn't have this problem if we didn't have a welfare state in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
If we didn't have this huge system that would give them a way to earn an income and not work. Secondly, I think people claiming asylum is probably somewhat of a response to harsh immigration laws that say you're going to be treated completely differently if you claim asylum. So when I come here, hey, guess what? I'm fleeing from wherever I came from. Instead of just being honest, I'm just coming up here to work, or I want to live in the U.S. or something like that.
Yeah,
so
but
you
if
have
people want to send money to be charitable, because I've gone back and forth on the border thing, and you know what? It kind of, the way I look at it is like, if right now there's a system in place where people are fleeing, and just, coming into this country by the buses. I mean, there was...
Because, okay, which case are you talking about? Are you talking about people that are genuinely being oppressed, or there's some real reason why they need to flee their country?
Oppressed, then, create a task force and go help, save people in the world, I guess. Like, why bust them? Like, one of the things, some guy running for mayor here, or not mayor, governor here in New Hampshire wanted to make it a sanctuary state and bus all of these people from God knows where and just dump them in New Hampshire.
That's actually not what sanctuary state means. But
basically in the article, that's basically what it was saying, is they wanted to bring a bunch of these people to New Hampshire from God knows where without any kind of vetting process. I think there should be. Because then if let's say that 75% of those people end up on some type of state program, well, you're not.
Do you think 75% of people just don't want to work?
Yeah, no, not that.
Non-citizens can't get welfare anyway.
Statistically, yes, they can.
No.
There are ways they can. When they're granted asylum by the state will then award them resources and allocate money. That's how the state keeps its funding.
No argument there. Probably
there are,
accurate.
Programs for refugees that and bad, dirty Liberty Penguin. who have the dirty, mortified Penguin? Thank you for the call. Man. Your calls and thoughts welcome. This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. What are your thoughts? This is Free Talk Live.
She seems happier. Her fur is so much shinier, silkier, softer. She has really mellowed a lot.
Sheba is 105 lean pounds of shiny, smooth, happy dog for life.
The shedding has stopped. The itching has stopped.
Since 2001, we've helped more than 250,000 dogs get over their nutritional deficiency miseries.
And saved our customers bazillions in vet bills.
Everything we tried failed except the Dinovite.
Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
If you want the dog to be healthy, you got to feed it something healthy.
The omega-3 fatty acids, flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa, the digestive enzymes that are cooked out of regular dog food. Dinovite is nutrition.
Dinovite for life.
Don't let your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy.
Come to Dinovite for help.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
Good technology is good, but the philosophy behind the tech is important. And Zencash was made by voluntarists with the ideas of voluntary interaction being embedded into the white paper. With no central authority or single point of failure, Zencash is more resilient than a traditional corporation. Everyone has an equal opportunity to participate in decision-making, which empowers stakeholders and makes Zencash less susceptible to third-party influence. And Zencash allows for secure private transactions. Learn more at zencash.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com.
Hi, this is Mark Edge of Free Talk Live. Michael W. Dean's book, User's Manual for the Human Experience, changed my life. In a culture that attempts to turn you into a compliant victim, this book gives you implementable steps on everything from how to be aware of your environment, walking down the street, to business, to how to handle a toxic person in your life. If you're a human, you need to read this book at least once. Go to Amazon and get the Kindle version, or paperback, or an audiobook of A User's Manual for the Human Experience.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. Last night we were talking about the post office and how, well, it's a failing business that's technically not a business because it's basically run by the government, even though people like to say that it's not run by the federal government. And during that discussion, Amazon was brought up, partly because Donald Trump is complaining, saying that Amazon is causing the post office to lose billions of dollars. Well, apparently Amazon wants to change the way they deliver packages, and we'll jump into that in just a moment. But, well, there's a company that Amazon recently bought that they want to help you be able to have a home security system. Talking about Blink and their motion-activated securities, the wireless motion-activated security cameras. That means that, you know, when you put one up in the corner of a room or in the middle of the room or wherever, and you decide, I don't like it there, I want to move it, you don't have to drill holes in walls and move all kinds of wires and whatnot to move the cameras. And these cameras, they're easy to set up. They connect to a wireless device, whether it be a smartphone, a tablet, something of that sort. And then you can either set it to alert you when something moves in front of said camera. You can also set the duration. That way you're not setting it off while you know that you're home, and then you wind up, Who's walking in front of? Oh, that's me. So set it to give you notifications when you're not home. And these cameras, again, wire-free, super easy to set up. No contracts, no subscriptions. Here's the deal. Get 3 Blink security cameras for way less than what the other guys charge and get an extra 15% off. Visit blinkprotect.com/FTL. That's blinkprotect.com/FTL, as in Free Talk Live. Blink Protect, that's all one word, blinkprotect.com/FTL. So let's jump into this article from Engadget about Amazon and, well, their plan to change the way they deliver packages. Whether or not they're actually allowed to go through with this change is going to be a completely different question. Again, from Engadget, they say Amazon promises speedy deliveries, especially for Prime members who might not be pleased to get their purchases late when they have to pay $20 more for a subscription going forward. And that's $20 per year, not $20 per month, but still, they're paying more for that Prime membership than what they were. To be able to keep up with the demand and stay true to its word, the e-commerce titan has launched an initiative that encourages people to start their own small package delivery business for the company.
Nice.
The Apple Delivery Service Partner Project offers entrepreneurs discounted Amazon-branded vehicles for delivery, branded uniforms, fuel, and comprehensive insurance coverage, among other things, for a minimum investment of $10,000. So this, right off the bat, screams to me multi-level marketing scheme.
You think? I don't get that.
And you're a contractor.
It screams you are a contractor, and it screams that Amazon needs more help in delivering the number of packages that they are delivering, so they're going to help subsidize this stuff.
Right, but see, Chris, if you get 3 of your friends to sign on, and they get 3 of their friends, and they get 3 of their friends, are they giving sign-on bonuses here?
I suspect they'll do some sort of like
multi-level marketing scheme.
No. Doing a recruitment bonus or something like that is not multi-level marketing. If you promise wealth beyond imagination, because you're always going to get a portion of the revenue stream for that next level and the next level after that and the next level of that. Now you're selling Amway.
If you sign up enough of your friends, you can retire and you don't have to work. Oh, but you do have to work because you're going to be delivering packages for Amazon.
Yeah, I don't.
For the low price of paying them $10,000.
I don't think it's going to. I'm not as suspicious of you on this particular issue.
Let's continue here. It says, interested business-minded folk will need more money than that, since the $10,000 doesn't cover drivers' wages. However, Amazon will reimburse qualified military veterans up to $10,000. The company also says that participants have the potential to earn up to $300,000 in profits every year for a 40-vehicle fleet.
And that's a pretty good investment. So, yeah, you're going to be putting a lot of vehicles out on the road. You're going to be spending a lot of money.
Those who choose to go all out and get 40 vans for their business would obviously have to shell out more money, though, especially since they'd need to employ around 100 drivers to run things smoothly. The initiative is now available in over 24 states, but the company will launch it in more locations if enough people are interested. Dave Clark, Amazon's Senior Vice President for Worldwide Operations, told the New York Times that it's hoping to get hundreds of signups over the next year. If it becomes a hit in the U.S., it might eventually be rolled out to other countries around the world.
So here's what I like.
They don't want to use like FedEx and UPS and stuff
like
that.
Here's how I look at it. I see Amazon, whether you love them, whether you hate them, as being an extremely successful business. And I was the one who, year after year, said Amazon still hasn't even turned a profit, because they went for years before they made a penny.
Because they started out as mostly books, right?
They started out selling books, and they have expanded and expanded. They've come up with innovations and new ways of doing things, and everything from how their distribution centers work to how they deliver to how they track products. I just see it as a real American success story. What I think is inspiring in this is here is this great entrepreneurial company that started out of nothing, And they've reached a point where they're so successful that they realize that the way that we're going to be even more successful is if we help create more entrepreneurs. And by allowing people to start their own Amazon delivery business, that's really fostering another level of entrepreneurs.
After reading a little further down into this article, this seems a lot more like Amazon's going to franchise out regional delivery. So it's not quite going to be, the level of you recruit 3 of your friends to be delivery drivers and they recruit 3 of theirs.
No.
And it's not quite a contractor sort of thing. It's kind of like, oh, you want to start a Burger King? Okay. You pay, I think it's $50,000 for the franchising naming rights of Burger King, and then you get to service a certain area.
Yeah, which means you get to build your own building and you get to do all those things.
Right. So the $10,000 is just going to be for the naming rights of Amazon delivery service, fill in the blank geographic area. There's more to this article, but first to the phones. 855-450-FREE is the number. We've got Ranger calling in from Chattanooga. Ranger, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead with your thoughts.
Hi, how's it going?
Good.
Going well. You're on the air. Go ahead.
I'm new to Free Talk Live.
All right.
So I appreciate you guys and what you're doing, but I got a few questions if I can.
Yep. Hold the line. We'll bring you back and we'll answer your questions. And we'll answer your questions if you call in 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Most of you know that heart disease is the #1 silent killer in the U.S. What if I told you for just $54.95 a month you could fight against heart disease naturally? At Heart and Body Extract, we've been helping thousands of people get back to a healthier heart. Don't just take my word for it. Check out all of the success stories at hbextract.com, or to order, call 866-295-5305. That's 866-295-5305. hbextract.com. Don't risk it when you can take charge of it.
A congressman recently revealed that legislation totaling 2,900 pages and involving more than $1 trillion was available to members of Congress for less than 48 hours to study and consider. That's over 60 pages of legislation per hour. Do you think anyone read the entire bill? I'm Jim Babka with DownsizeDC.org. Consider a proposal buried in a 3,200-page, $388 billion bill, which would have empowered committee chairmen or their agents to examine Americans' tax returns. When this horrible provision came to light, no one claimed to know how it got into the bill. One congressman questioned said, "I didn't write it, I didn't approve it, I wasn't even consulted." If your attorney represented you this way, he might be disbarred. But this is how Congress represents you every day. That's why DownsizeDC.org has created the Read the Bills Act. You can force Congress to read their bills before they pass them at DownsizeDC.org.
Are you tired of your taxes funding endless occupations around the world? Antiwar.com is run by people who understand that wars abroad become wars at home, wars on our freedoms. Antiwar.com is dedicated to bringing you the latest in news, views, interviews, and reviews from the top movers and shakers in the anti-occupation movement. Antiwar.com has it all, from thorough foreign policy analysis to interviews with whistleblowers who used to run the military-industrial complex. Anti-war, pro-free market. That's antiwar.com.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm. Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it. And once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world. So I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here. And I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. In studio tonight, it's Daryl.
And Heather.
And Chris.
And we'll get back to the phones here in just a moment. But first, want to remind you that if you like the show, consider joining the AMP program. AMP stands for Advertise, Market, and Promote, and it's a way that we can wind up reaching more program directors that wind up making the decisions to add the show to more broadcast radio stations. Those are, the ones that AM, FM stations, where we're not talking about just on the internet. I realize that, we do have the Twitch stream. We're on YouTube. We've got the free-to-air satellites. We've got the podcast that we put up, but we're also on, I believe it's 193 radio stations across the country, coast to coast, and we can be on a lot more. amp.freetalklive.com, and it's not just you throwing us money. There are perks that you get. There's an AMP-only portion of the Discord chat thing. There's an AMP-only version of the podcast. There are other perks that I don't remember off the top of my head, but you can find those amp.freetalklive.com. Let's go back to the phones where we've got Ranger calling in from Chattanooga. Ranger, you said that you're new to the show and you've got some questions.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you taking my call.
Yep, go ahead.
You guys are anti-army in government and police, no?
Oh, let me answer that one.
Depends on who you ask.
So if you go around the table, I'm not going to speak for Daryl's opinion. I know, Heather, you are, I would say, pro-military, pro-police.
Yeah. I'm not.
I'm a former selectman, so I've actually had police officers working for me, and I'm also an Army veteran. What I am, I can only speak for myself, is I'm very much against war. So, Daryl, do you want to take a stand on this?
Yeah, I am personally a conscientious objector. I'm opposed to war. I'm not opposed to police if they're actually enforcing crimes with victims.
Right.
What related to the police that I am opposed to is when they go around and give people tickets for things like an open container when it's a girl walking from one college party to another, and she just happens to step 1 foot onto the sidewalk instead of walking completely in the yard.
Yeah.
When you've got people that may have small amounts of cannabis, and they wind up getting arrested and thrown in jail for lengthy periods of time. When you've got people that are running websites that get sentenced to 2 life sentences plus 40 years. I'm opposed to that.
Right. So how does that fit into your preconception of us?
I agree with Ian. I mean, the laws are, DS, I guess I should say.
Okay. Yep.
I don't believe that you should have the right to smoke marijuana or like do the drugs you want to do. Take all the warning labels off everything and let the survival of the fittest work itself out. But
I'm not necessarily opposed to warning labels. I'm, not in support of government mandates that a ladder have 8 of them.
Right.
But if the ladder company wants to, on their own accord, put all of the warning labels telling me not to stand at the very top,
feel free, and I'll still do it.
Well, yeah, I mean, if it's a private organization, but as far as government goes, I'm a 10-year Army vet. I've done 6 deployments, so I get what you're saying. But isn't it when you do a tribal intonation, they have their own laws? So isn't that anarchism?
We debate this a lot with Heather because Heather seems to think every libertarian is either her or an anarchist.
No.
I don't see things as being that black and white. I think that it's natural for people who band together for whatever reasons, be it a tribe, be it a country, they're going to come up with their own acceptable rules and guidelines for behavior. And that's okay. I don't think you could ever I don't think anybody would ever, even if it were 2 guys with tents next to each other who are in the Army, would say, hey, you know what? Let's make murder legal.
But see, that's the thing is anarchists, no matter what tribe they're in, they're never going to be happy.
Right. But
that's why I have kind of a lower patience level when it comes to anarchists, just because there literally is no pleasing them.
You just think everybody's an anarchist.
No, I just it's
it's this vast anarchist conspiracy.
I don't know, but
yeah.
I kind of I grew up, my dad was in the military, so it was I don't know, call it tribal, whatever. I like the idea of people coming together. I think there's a positive perspective. When you have, hundreds of thousands of people that come together and wave a flag and they're all agreeing to be unified with one another, I think that's in its own sense a good thing. It's better than all those same people fighting each other. And so I can see the positive spin on, the tribals.
I can too. What I can say is that I would see a more positive society come about through more voluntary interactions as opposed to dictators. And that's where, unfortunately, our government acts very dictatorially. And we talk about those stories every day, even if it's about, pick your topic of the day. And we've been talking about cannabis and drugs, and we have the government coming down and saying, no, absolutely not, is against the law, even though this plant grows naturally, possibly in your own backyard. If you get caught with it of sufficient quantity, we're going to throw you in a federal jail.
And if it's legal to sell where you happen to live, we're still not going to let you go put your money in a bank.
Right. So there's those sorts of issues. I just think that the idea of voluntarism makes a heck of a lot more sense than trying to perfect a democracy or a republic, which we continue to kind of goof up at. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
So I apologize for it. I had to call.
That's okay.
What if the majority said that we should imprison? Just hypothetically speaking, you're saying that you think the majority should rule. Basically, no. Is that?
I don't think that's at all what he said.
Yeah, I don't buy into, because a pure democracy is just majority rule, and
right.
That means that
in a
if
pure
you're
democracy, they could say nobody named Ranger is allowed to live here, and anybody named Ranger is either going to be thrown in jail or executed on site.
Yeah. I think the majority ruling is just life. That is what happens whether people agree with it or not. So what happens is when you have any type of particular belief whether you're Republican, Democrat, or Libertarian or whatever. Your job is now to convince people of what it is that you believe in and make that idea become one that the majority holds.
You do realize that our entire country was founded to fight the idea of majority rule, that our whole system of government was designed and built.
Trying to get rid of like a small minority of British rulers to
Can you
rule.
explain to me what they
wanted the majority of people to rule, not the minority of
We
like
put
the
in,
king and him.
When we talk about the Bill of Rights, and that's a good example, is the major driving force was we don't want a king to rule us and we don't want a mob to rule us.
Which is
so
minority.
we put in all these things to protect the rights of minorities. The minority opinion can never be squashed. It can't be
it was the
done away
majority
with.
of people's opinion that they protected.
No.
Yeah.
I know you like to think you know that, but you're completely
Because we
and
wanted
totally
to
wrong.
escape British rule.
Yes.
Yes.
And
the majority of people wanted to escape British rule.
No,
so
no,
it was
that
giving
even
power back to the majority.
even that is completely inaccurate.
Yeah.
The majority of people didn't care.
Ranger,
That's what
thank you
happened during
for the call.
our revolutionary period. The majority didn't care. They didn't do anything. You had minorities that actually fought against the
I
British
disagree
rule.
because I think it needs to reach a tipping point. Majority will rule in the end.
This is Free Talk Live. Your calls and thoughts welcome. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. This is Free Talk Live.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynavite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynavite.
Dynavite for life. Pick up 2 tubes of Doggo Suds.
Get the 3rd tube free.
Peppermint, tea tree, lavender, Doggo Sud shampoo.
Made with all-natural coconut, jojoba, aloe. Great for healthy skin and soft, shiny coats.
But no itchy, harsh chemicals.
Lather up, rinse away.
Try Doggo Suds. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynavite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Cryptocurrencies are successful because of good technology. The liberty-loving voluntarists who founded Zencash in 2017 took the best tech, like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and are creating a secure platform for money, messages, and media that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. Find out more at Zencash.com. That's Zencash.com.
How well and how fast does Heart and Body Extract work to improve blood circulation? Listen.
My name is Ellis, and I'm 66 years old, and I live in Jacksonville, Florida. 2 years ago, I was diagnosed as having clogged arteries. I had 70% blockage in one artery leading to my heart. They wanted me to go on Plavix, but I refused, knowing the negative side effects.
Heart and Body Extract is a unique balance, synergy, and proportion of herbs reaching from head to toe at maximum absorption around 95% at the cellular level.
Within the first month, I felt a dramatic difference. The heaviness in my legs was reduced, and within 2 months, I felt completely normal.
Your natural organic herbal formula for heart health is Heart and Body Extract. Heart and Body Extract comes with a 100% ironclad money-back guarantee. Details at hbextract.com or call 866-295-5305 for Heart and Body Extract. Call 866-295-5305, 866-295-5305 for Heart and Body Extract.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. Physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's posts pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. Facebook.freetalklive.com. Radio is the most personal of mediums. I exist right now in your head. If you listen to Free Talk Live regularly, you know me. Free Talk Live is on more than 160 radio stations around the U.S. and has been downloaded on every continent around the world. Hundreds of thousands of listeners with ad packages from $600 a month to $6,000 a month. Imagine what we can do for your business, project, website, or idea. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We'll get back into the story here from Engadget about Amazon in just a second. But I want to tell you about a cryptocurrency that, well, it was made by voluntarists for voluntarists with the ideas of voluntary interaction embedded into the white paper, talking about Zencash, with now over 12,000 secure nodes. Zencash has one of the largest node systems of any cryptocurrency, and they're getting ready to roll out something called super nodes that will require more Zen to be staked than the amount of Zen staked into a secure node. And Zencash allows for secure private transactions using something called ZK Snarks, which is some zero-knowledge proofs. I don't know how it works. I just know that it does work. You can go learn more about Zencash at zencash.com. That's zencash.com. Possibly time for you and your thoughts if you call in now, 855-450-FREE. Jumping back into this article here from Engadget about Amazon's delivery service partner project that, well, it sounds as though they're going to franchise out Amazon package delivery. And all you need is a minimum investment of $10,000. And you can wind up, they say, earning up to $300,000 in profits if you wind up getting a 40-vehicle fleet. The initiative, they say, is now available in over 24 states, but the company will launch it in more locations if people are interested. Dave Clark, Amazon Senior Vice President for Worldwide Operations, told the New York Times they're hoping to get hundreds of signups over the next year, and if it becomes a hit in the U.S., they'll look into rolling it out in other countries around the world. According to Amazon, the project will not completely replace its delivery partners, UPS, and the United States Postal Service. Clark also denied that it was created in response to the president's accusations against the company. Back in April, Trump attacked Amazon on Twitter, telling followers that it cost the United States Post Office massive amounts of money for being the company's delivery boy. Amazon has an agreement with the post office that sets the rates of deliveries for the company. The details are not public, but according to experts, Amazon has not been a burden on taxpayers at all. It even brought in $19.5 billion in 2017. Where did the president's accusations come from? The Washington Post said it talked to officials who believe that the president's attacks coincided with some of the articles it published, articles criticizing the administration. Amazon chief Jeff Bezos also happens to own the Washington Post.
He does, and that's probably not going to put him too high on President Trump's Christmas list.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I just like the idea of Amazon. They're kind of hostage at this point. They either can pay more money and use the commercial services, or the best bidder right now out there, sadly, is the U.S. government. And I know that the Postal Service is not. It's not an actual part of the government. It's just this quasi-governmental. It's not private. It's blah, blah, blah.
They can't do anything other than replace a burnout light bulb without an act of Congress.
Right, literally without an act of Congress. So I just really like this idea. I like the idea that they can hopefully get out from under that and realize that the Postal Service comes with this enormous burden, and that is all of the bennies that postal employees receive. So we're talking, unfunded retirement programs that are immense. They're not sustainable. Those are going to catch up with them, and there's no way that they're going to continue to only lose the amount of money they're losing this year, because guess what? The post office always loses money.
Right.
They don't turn a profit.
UPS and FedEx, I believe, have earned profits somewhere in the neighborhood of the amount of money that the post office has lost.
Right. So I just hope that this works out.
The article here continues. This initiative also will not completely replace Amazon Flex, which pays people with their own vehicles to deliver packages for the company, with the promise of earning at least $18 per hour. Those interested in the opportunity may want to take note, however, that they and their delivery drivers will not be classified as Amazon employees or even as independent contractors. They'll completely own the business they put up, except they'll have a contract with Amazon that prohibits them from using the discounted vans to deliver anything else other than the tech giant's packages. So basically, this is franchising Amazon delivery services and signing an exclusive contract with Amazon to only deliver Amazon packages to Amazon customers, and you can't deliver anything else.
Yeah, but that's okay. I mean, if you're looking...
Oh, you need to go get groceries and you just finished delivering packages? Your contract with Amazon says you're not allowed to use the van for anything else.
Oh, you really think that they're going to come down that hard on people? I don't, because...
It's in the contract.
Jeez, Daryl. You're being pedantic. Where's my yellow card? No,
I do honestly think that they would come down that, because I've seen people.
You're going to have things that come up, like the proper use and things like that of a vehicle, but whether they're going to stop and they're going to revoke a contract because a guy stopped and got a gallon of milk on the way home after his busy day of delivering packages, that's going to be pretty crazy. And Amazon isn't going to have a successful program if they look at
spending
things,
thousands on lawsuits and attorneys.
What they are
enforce contract law over a gallon of milk.
Right, but what they are going to be concerned with is, okay, suddenly this guy who's taken all the benefits of Amazon's program and now opens his own, delivery service in his hometown, selling, delivering groceries. Yeah, they're going to be worried about that. But everybody who ever goes into business as part of a franchise understands those risks up front. They know that they are not ultimately in complete control, that they are in a partnership with the franchisor.
Right, but even, like Burger King's and McDonald's and Dairy Queen.
I'm so surprised McDonald's doesn't deliver, to be honest with you. Like, they're such a giant that
Why
I figured,
would they?
Oh,
I don't know.
Can I interrupt with the biggest news story of the day?
What?
McDonald's is actually now starting to sell muffin tops.
Wait, what?
The best part
of the
Seinfeld
joke?
The best part of the muffin is the top part, and they are crediting Seinfeld for that idea.
But what I was going to say is, like these places where they are, the independently franchised la-da-das, the owners have a little bit of leeway.
Right.
Not a lot, but a little bit.
Sure.
As long as, here's what a Big Mac is.
I don't eat fast food, really.
Doesn't matter whether you eat fast food or not. You acknowledge that McDonald's exists.
Right.
And that a Big Mac at McDonald's in Keene, New Hampshire is going to be the same as a Big Mac in San Diego, California.
Yeah, basically.
Now, the McDonald's in Keene might sell something the McDonald's in San Diego doesn't. The McDonald's in San Diego might have something different.
Like we get lobster rolls, right?
I was just thinking that.
How New England is that? Yeah, you can go to
came
McDonald's.
Up in my news feed the other day. I posted a status. And I made a Facebook post like years ago when they first started doing that.
Right.
And I was just like, so Facebook just decided to sell lobster rolls.
Hold on.
Rolls.
So
No thanks.
McDonald's sells lobster rolls?
Mass-produced lobster rolls.
Yeah.
I never knew that.
They're going to come out real soon here.
Oh, yeah.
If they're not out already.
I wonder how many people have gotten seafood poisoning from that.
But when are they bringing back the McRib?
You're in New England.
Or how much of it is like a
Hopefully never.
artificial meat, I bet.
I think they're using actual lobster meat. I know the price isn't really inexpensive, but yeah, that was just one of those. I remember moving up here to
Just think of
New Hampshire
mass-produced
going,
lobster rolls. It just doesn't
what the
sit
heck?
well with me.
McDonald's sells a lobster roll? That's crazy.
Yeah. So maybe this Amazon thing will wind up working. Maybe it won't. Maybe they'll expand Amazon Flex. Maybe they'll wind up getting approval to actually do drone deliveries, which is something they've wanted to do for a long time, but the FAA will not allow them to do it because, well, somebody might shoot the drone out the sky and steal your pair of socks.
Now, I might shoot a government drone out of the sky, but I will not shoot down Amazon drones. Why would I do that? That might be my own delivery. It might be something our good friend Matt ordered off of Amazon. Why would I ever do that? Now, if you fly a government drone over my property and you try peeping in my windows or seeing what I'm
snatching your people up,
growing on my land, then yeah, I will do my best to take that thing down.
So, what are your thoughts here? Do you think this is going to wind up succeeding, yay or nay?
I think it's a great experiment. I think it's going to be really complex, and we'll see. I think it's worth them trying. You know, if Jeff Bezos loses $100 million on it, that leaves him like 1 million times more than that left. So, okay.
We're out of time for tonight. I'm skeptical, but yeah, maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. We'll be back tomorrow, but we're always online at freetalklive.com.
If you're looking for work, the person you are applying to may be even more nervous than you are. And the way things are now, your references have never been more important. Here are 3 tips. First, know that employers are checking. Every hire is under the microscope these days. Second, they won't just be checking references you provide. Figure that all of your ex-employers will get a call and be asked, would you hire him or her again?